Blog Talk Radio.
Craftswoman Consulting and Personal Services, offering wholesale shea butter, waist beads, pyramid, and aunt candles. Call 214-6591-RBG or visit candlescreated.com. Order custom designs. Choose color and fragrance. Call 214-6591-RBG or visit candlescreated.com. Candle making classes available and more. Call 214-6591-RBG or visit candlescreated.com.
Yeah. United Front.
University Avenue.
Get it. RBG. United Front. Stop over. This is dedicated to Mike Brown.
Derek Williams.
Sean Bell.
Darius Simmons.
Oscar Grant.
Trayvon Martin.
Timothy Stansberry.
Corey Stingler.
Catherine Johnson.
Rest in peace.
Black
Power.
Power.
Revolution.
Let's go. Let's get it.
What kind of man allows his kids to die in the streets? By the hand of the cracker man, the wicked police. Please understand, we at war with the beast. Until we kill our enemies, can't be no peace. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. 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 Children dying in Gaza, but they will be avenged and protected by their fathers. But will we fight with honor? Will we fight for autonomy, the freedom to be sovereign? Can't negotiate freedom, never bargain, that's the problem. My babies are now the targets of these cold-blooded monsters. Now will we let them kill them, or will we do the killing? That's the question. Manhood, provider, and protector. Any threat I have to check them with my weapon, I'ma stretch them. My baby's hair follicle, the tiniest particle of her molecules. It's worth $1 billion Phil Donahues. I'm in this looking down on you, it's only right. We gotta fight, despite the obstacles. The morgue or the hospitals. I fight a tank with a stone when defending my home. That's how it goes when protecting my own. Fight for my black goddess, put her back on the throne. Where black manhood is gone in this valley of bones. What kind of man allows his kids to die in the streets? By the hand of the cracker man, the wicked police. Please understand, we at war with the beast. Until we kill our enemies, can't be no peace. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. 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 Mike Brown was gunned down with his hands in the air. His mama don't have a son now, and y'all ain't prepared to strike back, cause you crippled with fear. Die like a man or live like a queer. Listen here, there's only two options: be a man or be a coward. Life for extinction, instincts without thinking. It's natural to react to enemies out to attack you. Bloods and Crips claiming that they gangster got me baffled. Where's the brotherly love, community revolution? Spilling each other's blood, we crippled by the confusion. Gangster in the music, where's the gangsters in the movement? Silently start moving on police inside their cruisers. Make them feel the fury, be the judge and the jury. Change the name of the cities to Colin Ferguson, Missouri. Get it? Let's burn it down and put back on our crown and make the ancestors proud by protecting the child. What kind of man allows his kids to die in the streets? By the hand of the cracker man and wicked police. Please understand, we at war with the beast. Until we kill our enemies, can't be no peace. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops.
The only words I got for a copper go block a patchouli to his medulla and break him or something proper. The only good cop is a dead one.
Peace after revolution.
Me and Ferguson next to the tear gas stations. Cause we're past waiting for the last waking. We're fast breaking, ain't coming back without bag bacon. It's cold slabs waiting. Steady asking where the love has been past hating. And so we bear arms like we half naked. You can wear the fear on your face. I'ma keep my prayers on my waist. Nowhere to go but up, no stairs in the race. Just stares at my race. And so I stay prepared in my hate. Tension thicker than the air that's in space. It's time to dismember some cowards. Shaka and Barker, I remember the power. They set the bat, now the vengeance is ours. Revenge of the African. You ain't no yellow and black again with red dots for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops.
What kind of man allows his kids to die in the streets by the hand of the cracker man and wicked police? Please understand, we at war with the beast until we kill our enemies.
There can't be no peace.
Red dots for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead
How many
crackers, dead
jobs we
cops.
gotta lose before the fuse get lit? Before we realize we have no rights, they bound to respect. I say we load up the tech, wrap up our face, polish up the machete, gather the troops in caravan, it's war to their doorstep. I bet them crackers sing a different tune. If every single time we lose one, they lose two. Ask the goon about my eye, watch the pendulum swing. Eye for eye, coupe and tech, bullet car, cut his head off clean. How many people really hearing me? When tyranny is law, rebellion is responsibility. So who's gonna stand up and man up, take up arms? And I don't mean marching with your damn hands up. Man, this fight for survival's real. That non-violent stuff will get you killed. Might as well walk as warriors, cause fighting for survival's real. And non-violence will get you killed. Real.
What kind of man allows his kids to die in the streets by the hand of the cracker man and wicked police? Please understand, we at war with the beast until we kill our enemies.
There can't be no peace.
Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops. Red dot for headshots, dead crackers, dead cops.
My ancestors woke me up this morning. They say, son, you do know what time it is, don't you? I said, what time is that? They said it's wartime. So welcome to the War Front, brothers and sisters. We back here with you on this June 8th, 2014. It seems like it's been a century. It seems definitely more than 7 days, brothers and sisters, but I guess there's been so much going on in the last 7 days. Oh, man. We got a fantastic program for you tonight. We've had some really, really powerful programs over the last few weeks. I think in my opinion, we always have some powerful programs, but I think we've been getting a lot of comments about how good the programming has been, and I'm sure it won't be any different tonight. Not as though this is a conversation that we want to really have to have, but we got to have it tonight. I mean, this is a real serious situation here. Want to let everybody know that's out there listening in the listening audience that we're going to continue to do our live programming here on Blog Talk. So our live programs will go on Blog Talk, but we're going to start simulcasting it on the Live 365. So everybody, if you want to listen to live programming, will have to call in and listen to the Blog Talk station. But tonight, for a little while, we'll have it on just so people can hear a little bit. But this will be the last night that we actually simulcast on the Warner Horizon station. Now, again, the Warner Horizon station is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week programming. And we only do live programmings right now on Monday night, 7 to 10. But what we're going to do is we're going to stop doing the live programming there, but we still constantly put up old programs, different stuff from Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Khaled, Brother Dr. Amos Wilson. We put up different things from different people so that you can constantly hear. Also, we put up a lot of our programming, a lot of lectures, the information that our people need to go into the 21st century and understand what we need to do is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the Warner Horizon Live 365 radio network. You can just go to waronthehorizon.com, go over to the right-hand bar menu, going down to where it says Live 365, and you can listen to that Live 365. But we'll no longer be doing our live programming there. We'll do all our live programming here at the Blog Talk. Also, I think people will be pretty excited to find out that we're going to be adding some new programs by the end of the summer. We should have at least 3 programs. We'll have the Warner Horizon program. We should have a program out of New York City. And we should also have a program, hopefully we have one out of North Carolina as well. But we will also, if things go the way we anticipate, we're going to be having, I don't think it'll start in July, though, because we're going on the on some excursions this year. So, but in September, we'll be starting our Mind Your Black Business series. And that'll be Wednesday nights, be about an hour, just depending on how things go. And we'll be doing that Black Business program, and I think it'll be something people can really enjoy. What we're looking at now is charging people that have their own businesses and want the opportunity. We charge $50. We have rates that we charge already for things, but one of the things you get for the $50 will be not only your advertisement played on the radio station, but also you'll get to do one of the interviews where you can interview and tell people. You have a whole hour to talk about what you have, what you're selling our people, how you came into business, a little bit about yourself, and how they can find you and support you. And we will definitely give you that opportunity. You can keep that program. You can share it, send it around to people to let them know what it is that you do, and it'll be part of our whole series, Mind Your Black Business, where we're working with entrepreneurs, black people who are in business for themselves around the country, who can talk about their business and how anybody that wants to get in touch with them that is interested in what they're doing can reach them. So it'll be an excellent opportunity for business people. We think $50 is well worth it to have that type of opportunity. And then once you do that program, it's out there for posterity, meaning, you get a copy of it forever, so you can use it for advertising. You can use it for anything that you want to use it for. And we will also put it on our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week Live 365 network so that people can see and hear it. So we wanted to let everybody know that. Glad you tuned in tonight. We're going to have quite a program tonight. I think that most people have seen most of the people I've talked to, they have seen the situation with the police terrorism in Texas, where basically you got this one super renegade redneck police officer, and he actually pulls out a gun to shoot these young brothers and sisters. But he didn't end up shooting them because the brother ran fast enough to get away from the bullet. But suffice it to say, he wanted to kill him, and it all started very similar to what happened in Baltimore, where the police had murdered. In this case, it wasn't a murder, but you remember the police murdered the young brother in Baltimore, and young people were protesting peacefully, and all of a sudden the whites just started coming out the woodwork. You N-words, you monkeys, attacking women, and then they got too much, and the brothers wasn't tolerating it, and they went in and started tearing up stuff. And they were not looters. They did it because they were under assault, and they were being called all kind of names. N-word, check, and they realized that these were assaults. They weren't being called kings and queens, and they went upside people's heads, started busting people upside their head and fighting these white folk back. Then all of a sudden, the story we get is that they're a bunch of looters. So it's a very, very ugly reality of what's going on. But this situation is a little different. I'm gonna let this is a interview we had with the young sister, but just so you can get an idea of what's happening, if you haven't seen it, you can go right on to my Facebook page, Didon Kimathi. Also has the Irritated Genie behind it, so you go to the right one. And you can go down to the one from 8 hours ago where we sent out. No, actually, you can go down to, let's see, you should be able to go to, I just want to make sure I tell you, you can go down, it's about 8 hours down. And you can go, it'll say it was posted 8 hours ago, it's the radio station announcement, and you'll see a police officer with his foot on the back of a little sister, and you hit play and you can watch that. You really would want to watch it. It was about 7 minutes. But basically, some young people went to a party in a neighborhood. I guess it's either a white neighborhood or it's a mixed neighborhood. Maybe they're neighborhoods that are close to each other, and the black children went over to one house that's over there. No, from what we understand, there were no incidents. It was just the whites didn't like all those black people over there. So the white females, racist crackers, called the police, and the police come and start just brutalizing the young people, really terrorizing them, because they weren't hitting them as much as they were throwing them on the ground. It was terrorism. I mean, it was clearly terrorism. And I don't even know if she said anything. One young sister was, actually, we're going to have a young sister say what happened to lead up to it. But long story short, the young sister was standing there, and the cop was yelling and screaming, and he takes her and just slams her on the ground face first. and jumped on top of her. And so the young brother see him doing it, and the young brother go up to him and was about to hit him. He pulls out his gun, and the young brother runs, and the other white officers run up. So that's the only reason I don't think he shot that young brother, is because the other officers ran up. And it was really something to see and watch. It was something to if you see it, only words. I don't have words that can do it. If you see it yourself, then it'll speak volumes. I don't really think there's any way that I can really describe to you what happened, because they weren't necessarily physically brutalizing the children, but it was pure terrorism. This is one that I would suggest everybody to watch. You can go again. You go to Didon Kimati, Irritated Genie Facebook page, or it's all around the net. You know, it may be probably if you're on Facebook, it's on your page as well. But you got to watch it to get the gist of it. Right now, I'm going to play the young sister who was there, who tells us how the entire fight started. So let's listen to our young sister.
My name is Tatiana Rose. So basically what happened was me and my sister and a few friends made a cookout, and I basically, to sum it up, when I went to go get my key pass from someone, this lady was saying racial slurs to some friends that came to the cookout.
What kind of slurs was she saying?
She was saying things such as black effort, and that's why you live in Section 8 homes. There's also a male that was saying rude things, and this 14-year-old girl named Grace, which is my brother's friend, took up for us saying that's not right, you shouldn't do that, that's racist, and things like that. So then they started verbally abusing her, saying that she needs to do better for herself, be better for herself, cursing at her. And I'm saying, no, that's wrong. She's 14. You should not say things like that to a 14-year-old. And they're like, well, you need to go back where you're from and things like that, telling me I need to go back to my Section 8 home and stuff like that. So I said, excuse me, and then the other lady, her name's Kate, came up to me and she smacked me in my face.
That was Kate, white, black?
Kate, Caucasian.
Caucasian, okay.
And she went and she hit me in my face, and that's when both of the women attacked me.
Okay, and just for clarity, you live in this neighborhood, is that correct?
I live in Craig Ranch.
All right, most of the people that attend the event also live in Craig Ranch, is that right? Okay. And Mom, did you want to say anything? You can just say your name for us, please.
My name is Washana Burks.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just upset that we couldn't have a peaceful event, and if it was any issues that they truly had, if they should have came to me, the adult that was here at the event, and said, hey, we don't want the kids, whatever, then let me handle it, and not go to that extreme.
Right. And most of the kids here were like classmates with them that were invited and things of that nature, so like in the area. Okay.
Right. So it was, food and everything. It was.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So that's the young lady where the fight started. I mean, literally just because these young black children, I'm not sure if they were at somebody's white house or not, but it looks like they were at a black woman's house. So I'm not sure if this is an integrated neighborhood. It looks like it may be an integrated neighborhood. I'm not sure what the circumstances are. I'm not even sure what part of Texas this is in. But it's really, really, really a horrible situation. And now I haven't heard it, but we might as well go ahead and play it. I'm assuming, because the young girl that the white police officer jumped on top of that was screaming, she was screaming for her mother. And of course, I didn't know whether or not her father was in the home or not, but it was resonating with me, because I was thinking to myself, well, man, this white officer, he's an officer, so you can't call the police. Who is there to protect this little sister? And the only person I could think would be her father. She's saying she's calling for her mother, which is not wrong, but I was just thinking, man, where are we as men? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and I'll get into that part, but this says that the young sister, it says the father of the girl at the pool speaks out. So I don't know if this is actually the father of the young girl that was getting beat up, or the one that was, that the police threw down, or if this is the father of the girl that was attacked by the whites in the neighborhood. So let me play right now and see what's going on.
But what I know about these people had the right to do a party in there. They were from the community. They stayed in the community. And the young lady, their civil rights were violated. And these young people, they stayed there, and they had every right to be there.
And we'll find out in our investigation. We'll find out that information. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll let the family. That'll be something that the family will say. We're gonna let two of the family members say something. One more speaker. That way we won't keep you. These are family members in New York.
Yeah, my name is Jahi Abibifahodie. I'm the father of one of the young ladies that was struck by Officer Eric, and I'm here on her behalf. She's 13 years old, and I personally didn't condone her running up there, but she saw someone that was in danger. The fact of the matter, this officer recklessly attacked this young lady who was following his instructions to leave. That wasn't acceptable enough for him. So my daughter, she came in, he just punched her to the side, and she videotaped it also. So we have some more video in case you don't have it. But I would like to point out, I was very disappointed in the city of McKinney Police Department. It was a swimming party. They didn't send any female officers out there. There weren't any black officers out there if you heard that there was a lot of black people. And that's one of the things I like for them to have some character detail. When you are insensitive to that degree, being a young black man, I'm seeing the cops, I'm running. I've always been told. You see cars, you leave. If you didn't do anything, go. Young men, they were, stay here, go, stay, come, don't go, move. And then there was a whole group of other people standing around. He didn't go attack them at all. I would just like the city to be able to respond if we can get the 911 call and send the proper people out there. If you want to have some situations with young female girls, I don't like grown men touching my girls, my daughter. I don't like young boys touching them. So how am I going to appreciate no police officers, especially as reckless as this gentleman? I'm not indicting the entire police department because I saw some people doing the right thing. I saw the officer actually trying to keep the matter right. This guy was just out of control. He should be drug tested, then fired. But he shouldn't keep his job. And I'm not going to stop until he is fired. And until he's fired, I'm going to bring out 3 names. You can Google them. Ajuma Muhammad, Anthony Shaheed, and Minister Louis Farrakhan. And you don't want that in McKinney. Thank you. Jahi, Jahi, Adisa, Adisa, and Bakari, Bakari. Well, I'll be honest with you, she's masking it. She's trying to conceal it. She doesn't want to bring it up. She was with me all day. Didn't even try to share it with me because she knew if she brought it up, I would be down here clowning. So now that I know, and she's upset. It's out there now. She's upset. No, she's the one that was trying to rescue the one. I don't know the relationship. I just know my daughter. If she sees somebody in distress, to my surprise, she went out. I don't know if I would have been mad enough to do what she did. So I'm proud of her on that, but I think it's foolish of her to do it too, because that police officer was out of control. I give him credit for one thing. He took it there. He pulled the gun out on teenagers. That's the one thing I have to give him credit for. He didn't pull the trigger. I don't know how he pulled it together at that moment. Maybe one of the police officers said, don't. I didn't hear it. But I thought it was over at that point. So thank goodness he did that one thing, because had he done that, this McKinney would be another Ferguson 100 times over. Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, bro. I'm sitting here just, on the one hand, it's easy to say, what you'll do, so I'm not going to be critical of anybody. But the one thing that I'm not hearing in this situation, and if you haven't seen the situation, you really got to see it. I really believe it's important for everybody to actually see the situation, because, and I'm not gonna make no friends tonight. I know that. I'm gonna be honest. I just gotta be straight up with it. This whole farce of integration. Every word that came out of Martin Luther King's mouth talking about loving some white folks and holding hands, and we got all of this stuff. We are responsible for the effeminization of our race, and particularly the leadership and my mother's generation. not my mother, but her generation. If they 60 between 55 and 65 are responsible for completely misguiding 2 to 3 generations now. Because this whole idea of loving white folks and praying to get, nobody's ever done that successfully. Martin Luther King did not get nothing for black people. It's just not true. He didn't do it. It was Robert F. Williams and Mabel Williams defending their community. It was the Deacons of Defense. It was the Black Panther Party. It was the Garveyites. It was the Nation of Islam. It was the Black Liberation Army. It was so many different groups. Many of them go unnamed, and people. There were people like our sister down in Cambridge, Gloria Richardson, Cambridge, Maryland. You know, you had these freedom fighters who was Rosa Parks, who was a real freedom fighter. People don't know her story. Brother Nixon, Lewis Allen. There was real freedom fighters, and then we had a bunch of folks. And I got to be honest, man. It's I see when I think of this fool, and I didn't even intend to go this direction, but I mean it just going that direction. This whole Martin Luther King nonviolent marching, protesting, and all that stuff. When it's all said and done, this stuff really has done substantial damage, because now we have situations where our communities are so integrated with white folks that once we come under attack, we have no idea what to do. Why don't we have no idea what to do? Because we think that we're part of the community. No, we're the ones under siege. But guess what? Since we believe we got white friends, we don't got no brothers and sisters we can call. We done fallen out with each other. We don't talk to each other. We live in community with Arabs and Indians. Oh, I don't want to live in an all-black neighborhood. But then something like this happens, then you want to go looking for your cousins and friends in the projects or whatever like that, the family that you never speak to and all that. It's like we integration has totally killed us, and we integrated the minute we got brought over here on these boats. But I'm talking about the disintegration, the sub-integration, where we believe that it's not bad enough that we live in the same space with the Europeans, but we're going to relinquish our blackness and our unification in our communities, and we're just going to go into a full-fledged black doesn't matter anymore, colorless environment. Stop teaching our children that whites were their enemies. Stop teaching our children that they were in a state of white supremacy and that it was a war, like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing teaches us, and that it's a white side and a black side. So now, when these kind of situations come, a black father, a black man will be standing there, and these white boys are jumping on these children, and you don't hear no stories of no random stories in the paper about no police officers having some last nights, you know, taking them long trips, that long trip to Neverland, you know. It's like it's happening right in front of our eyes, but the black manhood is not there. So what happens is, as males, what we do is we say, man, it couldn't have been my child, but it is your child. And we can sit up there and talk that tough guy talk, but if they're doing it to one black child, they didn't say, oh, I'm going to do it to this person's child, but not that other black person's child. It is your child. It's all of our child. And I'm talking to myself, too. It's done so much damage, thinking that we can do everything that us and white folks are the same. It's done so much damage. As men, we don't know what to do no more. I was talking to a brother, there's a book called We Will Shoot Back, and it was about the brothers of Mississippi and Alabama, all those little southern regions during the time where they talk about, that they teach us about integration, but really there was a freedom movement going on. And most of them folks down there was not about no doggone turn the other cheek and loving no white folks and all that foolishness. That was stuff that we was getting from, that we was told we was getting from Martin Luther King, and he ain't even start with that stuff. Martin Luther King had guns in his house. And when they bombed his house, he was ready to go ahead and, if he'd have seen them crackers, he'd have shot them. But then he get a homosexual come running into his house telling him that ain't the way to do it. He started hooking up with Barrett Russell, and all of a sudden his mind get turned. You know, and he got some new ideas of how things can be done. And then he spews that foolishness to us. And then now we trying to make him a hero when in fact, every time we bring up his name, we spit in the face of every ancestor that fought and died for our people. that told us to love ourselves and that fought with these crackers instead of trying to hold hands with them. We keep spitting in their faces, and what's happening now is the chickens are coming home to roost. That effeminate, homosexual spirit of bending over and taking it and letting people enter where they don't belong and violate our people is now coming back. Chickens coming home to roost. This whole, every single one of y'all, I should say us, I'm going to say us, but I'm a little upset tonight, so forgive me, but every single one of us that voted for Obama should smack ourselves in the face. Go tonight when ain't nobody looking, and I want you to do it with some gloves, but I want you to smack yourself hard. If you voted for Obama, I want you to look if you voted for him the first time, I want you to wear a glove and smack yourself in the face. If you voted for him the second time, I want you to take the glove off, and I want you to ball your fist up and punch yourself on the other side of your face. So you want to turn cheeks, then hit yourself in both cheeks. And if you still running around saying anything positive about a mulatto who supports the effeminization of the black male and the whole homosexualization of this culture, ain't got nothing to say about black children being brutalized in public, you ain't going to hear nothing from this. Remember, he crawled out the filthy wound of Europe, so he's white. His mama white, his behavior is white, and he has done nothing to help our people. So whatever black that he would have had in him genetically, we ain't seen no remnants of it and no evidence of it. So there's no reason to even call him black or even pretend like there's any blackness in him, because he has not demonstrated on any level that he has any interest in supporting anything that will help our people. He has definitively shown he's an enemy. So every time we go out here and say something positive or try to defend him on any level, we are culprits to the criminal behavior that's happening now. We are contributors to it. Right now, what men do, and this is something I've been thinking about. I mean, if you've seen this situation, brothers and sisters, if you haven't seen it, it might not make sense what I'm telling you. You really got to see it. Because we see them murdering brothers and say they got another brother they murdered in Massachusetts, just walked up on him, claimed he was some kind of terrorist, and just shot him dead in the street because he had a knife. Brother walking around with a knife. If police will come out and murder you, you should have a knife. I mean, it's a society of danger. You should have a knife. I mean, they just murdered the brother. So it is a situation where black people are under complete siege. Here's what the reality of it is. In order to be men, this is what happens. You're part of a society. The women and children face a threat. They come to you. And if you need to, other men who are part of your group, go out and you prevent the threat. You solve the problem. That is what men do. So in a situation where black children are being assaulted by police officers, and police officers are the authority in this society to call, and if they're the ones attacking our children, then the correct answer is supposed to be, if there's a such thing as a black man, then the next thing that the children do, since the police are the assaults, then they have to call the men. So the question is, who are the men in the community? And don't misunderstand me. I'm glad to see that the father came out and spoke out. I'm glad to see that the attorney stood up and spoke out. We also need other men, though. Where are the men that say, okay, yeah, the lawsuit's going to happen and all that stuff. We got those brothers. Okay, great. The father saying, hey, he did this to my daughter. Great. Where are the men that says now we have to even this out so that you won't do this again? So we will put the fear and the wrath of God in the hearts of every one of these blue faggots running around this whole country, that if you dare do something like this to this is a little black girl. I'm saying that because, I remember when R. Kelly urinated on that little girl. For a little while, it looked like things would be bad. And then all of a sudden, he became a hero again. And now he's a millionaire off our money. Or we pay for people that urinate on our daughters. If our daughters can be urinated on, then they can be beaten by white terrorists. If they can be beaten by white terrorists and the fathers get with the attorneys and ask the white folks for some justice, then it means our race doesn't have men. I want you to hear me again. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate what the attorney's doing. I do. And I'm not saying I'm doing something that the others are not doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're lying to ourselves. Every black man that says, I'm a man, yeah, right, whatever. We all lying. We're not men. And I ain't talking about what you got between your legs. I ain't talking about nothing like that. I'm talking about when women and children are under siege. Men who belong to a community find out and see it. It's their responsibility to fix the problem. I remember reading, I didn't read a book. I talked to a brother. He told me the story was in the book, and I'm going to look it up because I think it's a great story. I actually have the book. It's called We Will Shoot Back. And the brother tells a story of, I forget, I think it was in the early 1900s, but it was at one of them points where they were going through black communities and burning down black cities one by one in the South. And so the brothers had gotten word that the sheriff and the Klan were coming into their little town to burn it down the next day. So when they found out, all the brothers called a meeting, and they were like, man, what we going to do? They coming in here to rape our wives, burn our homes down, kill everybody. What we going to do? So the next day, those Europeans went around, and they started looking for the sheriff to go burn the place down. They looked down for a couple of hours, and they couldn't find him. So they said, forget it. Let's just go on over here. Maybe he's doing something else now. So they go as the bridge they had to cross to get to the black town. And as they began to cross the bridge, they was like, what's that down there? And they couldn't see. And when they got close enough where they could see what it was, I guess they got binoculars or whatever, they looked down, and they saw it was the head of the sheriff. That town never got burned down. They didn't have to have no phone calls to no police. They didn't have to have no long marches. They didn't have no civil rights something. They didn't have no long talks and promises that won't be kept. You better do this or else. If you don't do this, then I'll huff and puff and blow your house down. We gonna make sure that you that God brings wrath on you if you it wasn't none of that. When none of that talking and all that, they cut that thing real nice and tight, put that thing up on that pole, shine it up real nice so they can see him nice and clean now. And this is a real story. This ain't like no make believe here. These are real stories. These are real stories. I remember when I was on court duty, jury duty, and it was an older brother, and we was doing a trial about some brothers who were incarcerated, and they were on trial for something that happened in the jail. And I recall there was an elder on there. He probably was 75, 80 years old. He was a much older gentleman. Lived up in D.C., but he was from Mississippi. So we were on a sidebar talking one time because, my idea Mississippi is I think most of us from the north, that Mississippi burning. The black people in Mississippi were scared to death because anytime you turn a corner, you could die, which was true. But everybody wasn't shaking in their boots like that. You had a lot of hard-nosed brothers and sisters down there. And I never forget, I said, so it was just like terrorism. It must have been horrible living down there. He's like, no. He said, I had a nice life. He said, I think he said he came up here for the money, or he met a woman and he wanted to marry her, one of the two. But anyway, he said, no, man. He said, he said, let me tell you something, son. He said, I don't remember the year. I think it was in the 40s. But I remember we had this woman, and man, they moved into an area, it was a big area, so they wasn't right next door to no crackers, but nevertheless, the whites felt like that was the white part of town, and they had their house there. So he said they bought the house, and shortly thereafter, they came home one day, and they had a cross burning in their yard. So he said, I got me and the fellas together, and he said, we got a big sheet. And he said, we rolled it out real nice and long, and they had these big trees out there that they had in front of their house. And he said, on the side of the house. And so he said, we got some paint, and we painted on it. You want blood? We want blood. And he said, we wrapped it around the trees so that when they came back, they could see it. He said, them people ain't never have another ounce of problems. I'm going to say it again. He hung the sheet up. He said, you want blood? We want blood. He said, he ain't say nothing about God will matriculate you into the universal place of blah, blah, yabba, yabba, or the kingdom of the coming of the Lord. And he ain't say nothing about none of that fruitcake stuff. He said, you want blood? We want blood. And so I was looking at him, and I was like, what? I remember my uncle's wife. They live in New York now, but he's from, I think it was Alabama. I don't know if it was Alabama or Mississippi. I think it was Alabama. He's from Alabama. Deep South, though. And he was talking about how when he was growing up, how the whites were, sometimes when you work at the places, they wouldn't pay you on time. Just all of the horrible stuff. So I said, yeah. So again, I went to him the same way. So they just was treating black people like that. He said, well, they treated us like that because we was on the nice side of town. He said where he was, there was two sides of town for the black people. Of course, I'm not going to use the N-word, because he was N-word me to death. But he said, see, we was, well, we came from nice homes and nice families and everything, but they ain't mess with them ends from the other side of town. He said, because them ends wouldn't play like we would. They ain't with them ends wouldn't. They wouldn't mess with them ends over there. So he was saying the brothers over there were notorious. He said it was a situation where he said the whites would do this just regularly. Sometimes they just wouldn't pay you. Maybe they would gamble the money away or something like that. So you would work 2 weeks or whatever, and then they wouldn't pay you. They wouldn't have your money. They might eventually pay you, but they might not. They randomly just wouldn't pay you sometimes. And he was talking about a brother. Some of the brothers over, he knew this guy, but he was like, the black people didn't even like those black people because they was like rowdy. They ain't hear nothing about no putting your head down the side. They wasn't, none of them crackers didn't even mess with these black people. Like, before they would mess with a black person, they would make sure they wasn't from that side of town. Even the whiteys knew that. They didn't mess with them. And he said something like, I can't remember the exact story, but somehow the brother came back to the job because the white boy owed him some money, and the white boy told him he wasn't going to pay him. He said literally all the black people from his side of town were scared because they had to wait for the ambulance to come and drag this white boy out of the job site because he beat them bloody and they didn't know if he was going to live. And they was nervous that if he died, that their side of town was going to take the hit because they knew they wasn't going to the other side of town. And they went and sent one of them to deliver the brother his money. That's how bad it was. It was like everybody don't get the same treatment. But the thing was, as much as they may have been what you want to call over the top or maybe not properly organized, there was a certain type of organization they had in that other side of town, obviously, where it was like, we don't tolerate no foolishness from these white folks. And if something happened in unity, we going to go give it to them. So it wasn't just that it was one individual that was tough. He had a whole side of town that wasn't playing with these crackers. And I'm telling these stories for a reason, because I'm watching what's happening with this and I'm realizing, wow, once you integrate, you ain't got your side of town. And more than that, you don't have no collective love for each other to want to go fight. And even if you do got collective love, you got love, but it's not collective because you're not organized. You don't have men who are organized. You don't have families who are organized. You don't have structures that are in place when men say, we don't tolerate this. We know how to fix these kind of problems. Now, when we do things to each other, we know how to fix those problems. But we are not organized as real men to say we don't fight with each other. Let's fight against those who try to do harm to our communities. We're not organized like that. I remember another story. It's a brother. I didn't talk to him, but Brother Kush told me this story. And this is a deep story, man. He said he literally almost cried when the brother was telling him. He said because it was like he couldn't believe it. He said the brother lived right over in Northeast, D.C., and he talked to him all the time. And so one day he just really started talking to him, and I guess he found out we were doing the black nationalism and talking about white racism and all that stuff. He's like, I can tell you about racism and everything. So Kush smiled, and he said the brother just kind of slowed down a little bit and then started telling him his story. And he said that he actually told him that he lived in some place, it was Mississippi or Alabama. It was one of them deep south, Georgia, one of them deep south, might have been Louisiana, I don't remember. I know it was deep south. I think it was Alabama or Georgia. And he was working for a white boy. And he was working on where they work outside. And he had got the job to be the foreman or the one in charge. And this big, humongous white boy. He said this white boy was the biggest white boy you ever seen in your life. He said he knew he couldn't beat this white boy. This is old country cornbread cracker. Called him an N-word because he didn't think he should be working for no N-words. So he said he knew he couldn't beat this dude. So he said, they used to do the digging the ditches and all this stuff. It's hard work. That's man work, man. I'm talking about real hard work. He said he made sure that they got overtime that day. He worked. He let them, because he was the foreman. He ain't have to dig no more. He just telling me what to do. He said he put that white boy in the hardest working shift he ever had to work. He said, and when the day was over, right when he knew that cracker could barely stand, because a hard day work like that for a man, they tell you they ain't got nothing left in them. He said he took his shovel and beat the merciless heck out of this white boy. And so he did that, and that wasn't the last time, though. He kept having these situations with these crackers, and eventually some white boy did something to him, and he killed the white boy. So when he killed the white boy, he said he knew they was going to lynch him. So he couldn't go home because it wasn't a situation where he could get home and get out of there. He had nowhere to go. So he said he lived in the woods for like a couple of months, just trying to avoid, because they was bringing the dogs out, the clan. They was trying to find him, but they couldn't find him. But he was just living in the woods. And, he would just happen to know enough about being in the woods. He could skin a possum and eat, and he knew a couple of the herbs and stuff, but he was basically starving to death and just making it off whatever he could find to eat or whatever. And he did this for a couple of months. I mean, it wasn't like no day or two. He was like literally for months he was starving and in the woods because he knew they was going to kill him. And eventually, I don't remember the exact story how he did it, but he made his way out and he got on a hitchhike somewhere, and he made it up to the north, up to D.C. Then he got back on his feet, and I don't think he ever went home. But when he was just telling the story, Chris said when he told the story about what his life was like and what he had to do, and then like what it was like living in the woods for those couple of months trying to get away from this white tyranny and this hunt for him, I was serious. I know many times I tell the story, but I tell the story again. Sister Quasi's grandfather was working at a diner in the South Mississippi, and he used to cut the meat. And then they cook the food and stuff, but he was the one to cut the meat and everything. And so the white boy was sitting at the table to get served, and for whatever reason, he thought that he could disrespect this black man by calling him the N-word. He thought that, I guess he thought that meant king too. And he called his brother an N-word, and the brother took out his axe, his meat chopper, and chopped this white boy's arm off. The white boy didn't spit on him. The white boy didn't cuss at him. The white boy called him an N-word. And he was a black man who had so much respect. If somebody called him the N-word, it wasn't going to be tolerated. And since it was white that did it, it was even more so. Unlike us, who white folks can do stuff, but when a black person does it, we get mad. He was a real black man back then, see. He said, you going to call me that word? Okay, this is my answer. Chop, chop. Literally chopped his arm off. Ran home because, again, he knew the Klan was coming. He knew that he was going to be lynched. Got home, his wife and children, they grabbed whatever couple things they could do, hopped in the car, and drove out. Now, his wife was 9 months pregnant. And in Tennessee, or on their way from Mississippi, I forget what state it was, on their way to Chicago, her father was born. Her father was born on the road, fleeing a situation where he was going to be killed because he chopped the white boy's arm off for calling him N-word. Not messing with his daughter or nothing like that. Now, ain't nothing like that. Just literally, it wasn't even that complex. You call me the N-word, there go your arm. Do it again, white boy. I only got one more arm. You know what's coming next, I had something to cut and left town. But these were men. There's so many stories. I know the story of Brother Louis Ali always tells us the story about his grandfather, and I don't want to mess the story up, but basically his grandfather was involved in activism, and he was making a lot of money for a black man back then, worked for himself, and the whiteys didn't like that. They were trying to shut him down. He had his trucking company and working, and so his grandfather did all of this stuff, and he was teaching his sons this stuff, and he was paying for schooling for the black community and clothes and all that kind of. He was activist, man, a real true black man who used his money to lift his community up and was trying to get them educated. What happened? The whites finally got sick of this man. Sick and tired of dealing with this man who was constantly trying to uplift that black community. So what did they do? The white boys came and they got a black person. Where's he at? Oh, he's about to leave town because he got wind that things were getting pretty bad, so he said, we got to get out of here. He was packing up to leave town because he realized what he was facing. And what happened? The black dude rides with the cracker to his house, and as he's in the driveway packing the car, getting ready to put his family in the car to leave town, they murder him. The black guy in the car with the peckerwood. And they murder his father. His grandfather. They murder his grandfather. And Brother Ali's father comes outside and sees his father laying there. Right outside. Just right there. Physically he's transitioned. With a black man, he didn't know at the time, but the black males that had come, and what I didn't know this then, but I learned since that time, most people don't realize, not all the time, but many times, the Klan did not go collect the black people. They got the black people to go. They had a little Klan hit team that would go get black folks, like the police today. They always usually got a black police officer there to support their tyranny. Or back at the office, they got a black police chief that'll tolerate and defend their behavior. A good old boy. Well, back then, they would send a brother out and get a brother to either kidnap him or say, hey, let's go for a ride. Brother jump in, take him a ride, and they drop him off with the crackers and he don't know what's happening. Or they would take the whites to where the brother or sister was and get them. But a lot of times there was black involvement in this stuff. So that was a situation. And I'll tell the last story, and then I'm going to go to my phone call. But I'm telling these stories, I don't really know. I didn't have a plan to do this. It just kind of hit me. It's like, it's time for black manhood. It ain't time for no more of this. I don't want to hear nothing, no excuses for no W.E.B. Du Bois or no Martin Luther King. This is the chickens coming home to roost. This is the chicken coming. When we listen to Henry Jewish Gates, when we listen to Oprah Winfrey, this is what we get. When we listen to these accommodationists, Martin Luther King, when we listen to them, I got to keep it real, Roy Wilkins, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, when we listen to these race traders, I don't care what we want to say about it. There are people that was fighting tyranny the whole time. When we listen to these folks, we're injecting in the spirit of ourselves and our children wickedness and demonism and homosexuality, the love of the white oppressors of our people. And we are not injecting love for self. When we listen to Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks and Ida B. Wells Barnett and Fannie Lou Hamer and Jonathan Jackson, George Jackson, and when we listen to Fred Hampton, and when we listen to Boukman Duddy and John Jacques Dessalines, and when we listen to H. Rap Brown, and when we listen to Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, when we listen to all of the Black Panthers, and when we listen to these people that told us to fight and stand up for ourselves and have some dignity and self-respect, Geronimo Pratt, Assata Shakur, these people that fought this tyranny and fought this abuse and stood up for our people. Brother Malcolm, when we listen to these people, we're giving our children something that they need so that we know who our enemies are. When we listen to Dr. Ben and Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, and when we listen to the master teacher, Asher Kwesi, when you listen to Warner Horizon, when you do this stuff, you're doing what's right. See, when you do anything, for those of us that have been talking about this, we know this stuff. I want you to go back to April 12th War Room. I'm going to just read something so you can see it. I'm not doing this for the purpose to say I told you so. I don't want this to happen. I'm saying we know what's going on. We know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen for the most part. We just need our people to hear and help us build resistance. And we did this in April 2012 when the Trayvon Martin thing went happen, and we broke down all of these stories of police murder and brutality. And I just want people to go back and revisit this because it really doesn't help us if we say, hey, this is what's about to happen. Brothers and sisters, we got to prepare ourselves, but our people don't know. I'm just going to read the last paragraph of the whole thing. You can watch it and read the whole thing for yourself, just so you can see, we went from 2000, we went a little bit back and came up to Trayvon Martin, but we know that since that time, it's been probably 100 black people that have been murdered, and it's getting worse and worse and worse with the violence and police assault every day. I'm just going to read these. I'm going to read the last three. I'm going to read these last three paragraphs, then I'm going to tell the last story I want to tell, then I'm going to go to the phone lines. It says, this is a very short and abbreviated list of white terrorist attacks and or murders that have occurred over the past 20 years. It probably represents less than 1% of the white terrorist assaults and murders that actually took place in the country since 1990. However, it does provide black people in America with a context to which to understand Trayvon Martin execution-style murder committed by the small hat George Zimmerman. Whites in general and small hats in specific have been on a door-to-door campaign of black extinction in this country. And because black men do not kill the perpetrators of crimes against our race, whites feel justified in killing our people. Moreover, our black male acceptance of white-on-black murder is taken as a kill-at-will card for whites in this country. In this light, Zimmerman saw an easy opportunity to kill a defenseless black boy who he knew would have no black men to avenge his murder. He took this opportunity and murdered our young brother in cold blood. Because he is a small hat and lives in Florida, the most small hat-friendly state next to New York, he is unlikely to face any real time. This is before the actual verdict. His only real just punishment will have to come at the hands of black men in America. And this is the last paragraph. Now, this is April 2012. The bigger picture is that we are in an emerging police state that will quickly lead to the physical enslavement and or genocide of black people in America. Since the whites who rule this country are looking for an excuse to physically invade black communities around this country anyway, they will use the Trayvon Martin murder scenario and others in the days to come to fan the flames of black racial dissatisfaction in this country. After we have our standard militant 3-day insurrection, whites plan to seize African communities and begin the process of physically re-enslaving and executing black people. This process is already starting subtly in some areas of this country, but within the next 2 years, it will become blatantly obvious to everyone as the overt murders of black people in broad daylight by law enforcement officials increases exponentially. This was April 2012. So you wonder why Warner Horizon doing the things we doing, the way we doing them. Why are we so hostile against the homos? We got to all work together. No, because the homos are feminizing the men that will ultimately, the young men that are going to go out here and have to fight. They're destroying the manhood of the race. We understand this is a very serious problem. Why are we talking about interracial dating? Because a black man with a white female produces a mulatto child who probably is not going to get brutalized like this, but even if they do, the white parent can play some kind of part in trying to receive some bit of justice where none of that applies to us racially because they're not one of us anyway, except for the very, very, very few and far between who make a lifetime commitment to fighting on behalf of our race. But I wouldn't even look for them. The one or two you'll find will come to you. You ain't got to find them. I'm saying that this is the reality that we're in, and we haven't been doing our job, brothers. He said, they're killing our people throughout this country. We've known that it's been coming. But Warner Horizon, I can say we've been doing the best that we can do. In fact, now you see the straight black pride movement coming. Why? Because one of the things we have to understand, it's not just the beating of those children. Okay, so black people get together and get angry and go out there and bust these police upside the head and we win that battle. Okay, let's say the police back off. What are those black people going to do? Go back into our community. If we got a job with white folks, go back to our white folks. If we don't got a job, keep calling each other N-words and B's and hoes, molesting and raping each other, cursing each other, and killing each other. So that is not a plan to just go out there and punch the crackers in the head. I ain't saying we shouldn't do it. I'm just saying that is not a full plan. That's just a reactionary response to something, and they're prepared for that particular kind of response. What we got to look for is a holistic solution and resolution for this, because we're faced with a very serious situation here. The whites in this country are intensifying their assaults on black people. We saw a sister and her brother, I think they were in Chicago. They were somewhere in some white neighborhood, thinking that everything was okay. They were with their white friends, and some crackers came in the park, seeing the whites hanging with this brother and sister, and beat the heck out of them. I think they stabbed them, but I know they gashed them and slashed them. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I looked at the situation, and when I kind of read part of the story, and she was like, "We didn't see why whites would do this. We didn't think that this was this. We got white friends and all this." I said, "You know what? Martin Luther King did that to you. Blame Martin Luther King. He told you to hold hands with white boys and white girls, and what do you get for that? You get stabbed in the face, and you get shot like he did. He's telling you to kill yourself, and you doing it. I feel bad for you because you were lied to. I didn't lie to you, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you and tell you that your enemies that you fall in love with, or that these Negroes that came before you that we fall so in love with are your friends. I'm gonna tell you the truth. They lied to you, and they lied to you. That's it. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or maybe. I ain't giving them no passes. They don't deserve a pass. All the people that died. I'm gonna tell this last story, and we go into our phone lines. You know, remember now, my brother Louis Ali, his father, saw his father murdered. I mean, he saw him right when the life comes out of him, and he sees this as a child. He grows up, and he moves. He's in another state, up north actually, and his wife is outside with Brother Louis Ali and his brother. They out there playing, and his wife is outside. Some drunk crackers come by right while the sister's outside and try to rape Brother Louis Ali's mom. They weren't successful because she fought them off, but I mean, broad daylight, just try to rape her or assault her in some kind of way, some kind of assault that pretty much amounted to rape. The way I remember the story, the part of the story I know I remember. His father found out when he got home what happened. Some people was trying to tell him not to tell him, though. Don't tell him what happened. You got black folks telling him, don't tell the man, because he's a man. He ain't going to call nobody. He found out what happened. He called his friend. Him and his friend got in the car, rode with him. Father got out the car when he saw these crackers. I think he dropped 5 of them, and 3 of them had to take that long trip. He hopped out the vehicle, put 5 of them down. 3 of them took that long walk. Ain't nobody seen them since. That's right. They loved Jesus so damn much they got to go back and see him again. 3 of them got to see Jesus that night. One of them was crippled, paraplegic. When crippled, couldn't walk no more, I believe. And the other one, I don't know. He might have been a lucky cracker. I don't know. He wasn't too lucky though, because he got hit with them things. And through a miraculous situation, his father goes to court over and everything and gets off. Long story short, those were men. That's when everybody wasn't listening to this turn no cheeks and all of this gay talk. It's a bunch of homo stuff talking about nonviolence. You're a fag to even talk nonviolence, because you don't have to say that you're nonviolent. You just say, yeah, we coming out here to be to say that we don't agree with this. You don't have to tell a person you're nonviolent. You just don't be violent. You got to be a fag to throw your hands up before you even start challenging a problem. I'm nonviolent. Well, you're just a fag. If you want to tell somebody what you're willing to do before you get in a fight, well, look, I'm not going to punch you in your face. All right, well then, once you tell me that, I'm going to punch you in your face. Because I know you ain't going to punch me in mine, so, okay, if you hit me in the body, that's fine. But I really don't have no real threat. You ain't going to punch me in the face, it ain't no real threat. Well, look, I'm not going to kill you over this. Well, if I got a gun, so you're not willing? No, I'm not. I just won't do it. Okay, well, I'm going to shoot you then. Because I know I'm going to win. Because you ain't willing to kill nobody. You don't tell nobody what you ain't willing to do. It's a faggot position to begin with. I'm not saying that you have to do anything. I'm saying you don't go out. It'd be better to just shut your daggone mouth. Sit there and take it than to stand up and get 100 people together and tell them not to fight. Again, if you 1 against 20, yeah, these y'all look like I'm not no violent person because you know the odds. But you don't gather up people and organize them and then tell them, let's go out there and tell people we're not going to fight. You just don't do that. I'd rather give 5 strong warriors if we can push 100 crackers back by making an example out of 2 of them, then 100 suckers. Because them 100 crackers said, we got all of them. They said they're not going to fight back. They said they're not going to fight back, and they come in and punch one and say, oh, he's really not going to fight back. Wait a minute. Now push her. Oh, she's not going to fight back. Oh, then next thing you know, they raping and killing. Get out of here with that foolishness. The whole spirit, I want this thing to die, man. It's no reason why any black person, I don't want to hear, don't do it on this program. We should never, ever bring the name of Martin Luther King Jr. up again as a freedom fighter. He ain't no freedom fighter. I see people doing these things with Marcus Messiah Garvey. Yeah. Dr. John Henry Clark. Yeah. Martin Luther King. I'm like, wait, hold up. Here's men that said, do for self. Here's a man that said, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Then here's a dude that said we should hold hands with crackers and love them, and fought against people that was armed, trying to fight and resist Klan tyranny. Y'all shouldn't do it with the guns. It's not right what you're doing. And then when he got invited to Monroe, North Carolina, okay, so you saying we can stop them from lynching our people and raping our women with nonviolence? Why don't you come on down to Monroe? We'll invite you down, and then you can show us that it worked. Did he go? Nope, because he knew that wasn't working. He knew where he could go and have a little bit of protection, not 100%, but a little bit of protection and some cameras. And he knew where he couldn't go with that foolishness. And it really wasn't him making the decisions anyway. Them whiteys decide where he gonna march and when he gonna march and who he gonna march for. So nobody talk about that. The real freedom fighters ain't got no crackers telling them which moves to make. Ain't got no crackers paying them to go down there and do it. The real freedom fighters decide what's best for black people when they do it. Wasn't no crackers telling Fred Hampton what to do. Wasn't no crackers telling Garvey when to go and where to go and which direction to go. And now that we have 100 years of going in this direction, now we don't know what to do when people kill babies. When people shoot babies dead and we watching the video like it's a program on TV. And they doing it like it's at first it started like it was a feature film once a year, twice a year, something like that. Then it got to the point where it was like a docudrama that's going to come on in a 4-part series this week, next week. Now it's like a daytime soap opera. Every day you can turn on and see somebody else black getting murdered, and we don't know what to do. Are we serious? I'm going to go to my phone line, brothers and sisters. I just thought, I hope you got a chance to watch this, because what we realize, people out there listening, somebody tonight asked me the question. They said, the sister said, look, give us some solutions of what to do. But it would be fake if I try to give you solutions, because reality is we have to focus on rebuilding our community, because it ain't even a question what you do with this. When grown adult males start throwing your baby girls on the ground and putting their knees in their back, if you got to ask what to do, then you don't really want to do it anyway. I mean, it ain't no question. And besides, sisters shouldn't be asking the question, because it ain't nothing for a sister to do, except say, my husband was here all night. I don't know nothing about it. My husband's here all night, and he's sleepy. Thank you, officer. Bang, slam the door. Ain't nothing else to talk about, really. Well, what should we do? It ain't no what should we do. The question is, how can a group of people that call themselves N-words and B's and hoes actually stand up against this type of tyranny? The answer is they can't. We got to start at home with some love and self-respect. We got to respect ourselves enough not to call ourselves and our people out of their names, because nobody's going to do nothing. They just slammed that little B. Did you see how he slammed that little B on the ground? It's weird. When we see ourselves as victims of white supremacy, all of a sudden, we're not N's and B's no more, because now we want to start having sympathy for each other. And then 2 minutes later, after we turn that off, we put on some music to listen to us being N's and B's again and forget that we have a responsibility to fight our people. We're really cowards. The white man really a coward. Oh, really? He's the coward? Oh, okay. So it was a black man on a little white female's back with a gun to her? Oh, and the whitey ain't do nothing? Yeah, okay. Let's see what happens if a black police officer slams a white female on the ground, a bunch of white children on the ground like that in a neighborhood. Let's see if a black officer does that. Let's see if those white officers are going to stand around and support him in what he's doing. Let's see if the whites in their communities don't come out with their shotguns and start shooting. Let's see if the crackers don't go nuts. And the crackers are the cowards. Yeah, right. Everybody, the black that's calling the crackers a coward, I go with nearly full on this. If they cowards, prove it. Show me that they cowards. I ain't seen it. 5425-4787-0254-0961-9522 1191-6789-8111. And I want to be clear. I'm not upset with anybody asking what we should do. I'm saying we all know what you got to do in that situation. And we also know ain't no Band-Aid going to fix the situation we in. We got to reconnect with these young people because they're the only ones with the courage to fight. We got to have some jobs because once the fight is over that night, tomorrow, the next day, we got to have something where we can pay these homies to have a job and take care of their family. We got to start working together, which means we got to stop and reassess what we're doing, recalibrate, and do something for self. 5425. Just last thing, anybody that doesn't know, we have a basic rule here with no N-word here, brothers and sisters. And our greeting to be heard is praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And if there's ever been a time that we need a greeting like that, I think it's now. Praise Nat Turner. He didn't say, what do we do about this slavery? What do we do? Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. He ain't say, what do we do about it? He said, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. He didn't try to go out and immediately deal with lynching. He put together a movement, and now we can deal with the lynchers because we organized. Glory to God, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. He told us at the Millions Youth March, if they attack you out here, you take their nightstick like they did our brother Abdul Lawima and shove it up there behind and ram it down their throats. I'm not saying nothing about the behind part. He ain't mean it that way. He just saying, don't play with these crackers. And the police attacked and got their behinds whooped. That's the reality of what really happened. And anybody that was there can tell you about it. And we're very proud of the way that situation happened. So I'm going to say, praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. 5425, you live on Warner Horizon.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, and long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. What up, African?
How you doing, brother?
It's good. It's your brother Thero.
Oh, bro, I know. Let me just stand back. I know it's coming. Here come the heat.
You know what? You pretty much covered all the meat. I was like, okay, I was going to say that. But it's all good, though. To make it, I can, you said you didn't know where McKinney was. McKinney is part of Dallas-Fort Worth. It's above North Dallas. So what it is it's an area where white flight happened. When blacks started moving into areas that they didn't want us in Dallas, because we were basically in South Dallas. We moved to a place called Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff used to be its own city. Now it's part of Dallas. So we started moving that way, and then they reacted to that by moving north to a place called Plano, and McKinney, and Allen, and areas like that. So that area is white flight area, just so you'll be able to get an idea of where it is. And okay. So this is what I want to tell people, man, because a lot of people get caught up in watching documentaries on those civil rights documentaries and thinking that integration is something of the past, as if it happened back then and then right now we're all integrated. There's a lot of areas, excuse me, that black people are integrated. And I'm going to give you an example, a quick story, just to show you how these white folks in this area think, because I'm pretty sure they think the same way at McKinney. When black folks started getting a little money in Dallas, they started moving out of the so-called hood parts of Dallas, and they started moving into the suburbs. We started moving to the south side, basically. And so that was predominantly white areas. And so I went to a school. We were basically integrating those areas when I was like maybe in the 5th and 6th grade. And so, real quick story. One day I was in school, and the principal got on the intercom, and he said, all black people come to the auditorium. Or no, come to the gym. And so we were in shock. We're like, did we just hear that? And he's a cracker. So when we got into the gym, he blamed us for everything that was wrong with the school and the world. And you had some black teachers there that didn't do nothing. They were just standing there while this dude was telling us how we are what's wrong with the school and the world. And then after we went back to the classrooms, he called in the white students, and then after that he called in all other students, you know what I mean? So they could be Mexican, Asian, whatever. And so we asked the white students, what did he say to y'all? They said, oh, no, he was just, praising us and telling us, we're doing a good job type thing. So I say that to say that a lot of people get this ideal of integration as being in black and white, and not something that's happening right now. Now, here's 3 quick points. I know you got people waiting. I'm going to make real quick 3 points. When you say we need to defend ourselves, that's 100% on point. Now, here's the problem. It starts singularly, and what I mean by that is one of these black fathers gotta get physical. You know what I'm saying? That's what starts the chain reaction. Right now, we are seeing fathers speaking, saying they're gonna get their lawyers involved and these type of things. So actually, the father is somewhere in that child's life, but they not setting an example of black manhood by doing something physical. You touch my child, I'm gonna touch you. You got a family, we gonna find your family. That hasn't happened. That's my first point. Another thing is when you brought up the Black Panthers and brothers and sisters who were about protecting the black community back then. The difference between what they were doing and today is they had a so-called black community back then. Right now, a lot of black folks are living by white people and others. So how can you protect something that's not yours? You follow what I'm saying? Like, that's their area. How you can't come in there and set the rules. So that's where when we say, well, how can we need to be more like the Black Panthers? To be able to do that, we have to live in our own areas and protect our own areas. That was my second point. And matter of fact, I already made the first point, which was us moving into to the suburbs. So that's all I wanted to say. And you did a good job in the beginning.
Appreciate that, brother. You want to tell about your program tomorrow night?
It's on Wednesday. And it's Blog Talk Field African Radio. It's African with a K. And tomorrow Wednesday we're gonna deal. It's at 7 Central Time. We're gonna deal with the McKinney thing, but the majority of the show is gonna be about white women and how white women are like the most wicked thing to ever hit the planet. We seem to ignore them, so we're gonna give them some airtime, some FaceTime Wednesday.
Yeah, so beat up on the devil's wife. I had no problem with that, brother. We appreciate you, brother. Abibifahodie.
All right. Peace out.
Yep, straight black pride. Yes, sir. That's Brother Thorough from right down there in Dallas. I didn't realize McKinney was right down there in the Dallas area. Okay. 0254, praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm trying to hold on, bro. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Brother, I agree with what you said overall, but I want to challenge you a little bit.
Okay.
The reason why I want to challenge you a little bit is because, I've been this way, because I do a lot of talking on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And what I hear is a lot of talking. And I wanted to get at you at first because of what you were saying about what we need to do, and we're not men, and I agree. But what I get tired of is myself and others, and I've seen it on Facebook saying, well, we're not men, what are we going to do? Well, why are we talking? The dudes who supposedly call themselves men go down there and touch that crap. Don't talk about it. Don't even call nobody else no man. And what I'm saying is that what I realized when I asked myself, what am I going to do? I said, look, I can go down there, try to find this cracker, and do something to him. But that's just going to get me killed, and I'm going to end up like Malcolm. And where people are going might revere me or might memorialize me, but we're going to still be the same old scared Negroes. But then you kind of came back around full circle, and that's when I was like, okay, I feel them now, because you said we got to organize first, because we can talk all this talk, and that includes me and you. Oh, well, what are we going to do? Well, and that's what I'm saying. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? And if we're not going to do nothing, then we ain't no better than the people we chastise, like that father. If we're not going to go touch that dude, we can't. Well, it's different because that is his daughter, so he does have a more responsibility to want to do something. But I just feel like we have to be careful with saying that, oh, you're not a man, unless we're all going to start organizing, like you said at the end, and get together and with a show of force. And then what the brother on the phone just said, too, I agree with, and that's that, you know, we need to be in our own community, because we're not going to go into this cracker's community and set the rules for him. It's just not going to happen. That's why, like you said, integration was a poison. The only problem I had with the criticism of Dr. Martin Luther King, which you're completely right, he was mistaken, he was wrong, he was controlled by these Jews, but at the end of his life, he realized that he was wrong, and that's why they killed him. And I just want us to remember that, because Martin Luther King did what a lot of black men in his time wouldn't do, and that's stand up, because segregation wasn't all roses and candy. That's why Malcolm was standing up. That's why I heard a speech from Malcolm where he had to distinguish between segregation and separation, because even he said segregation is a system controlled by the white man, where he can come into our communities like he did with Black Wall Street. We can have an economy, we can have all these things, and the cracker can just come and burn it down and destroy it whenever he feels like it. And that's what we need to remember with the civil rights movement is they were wrong-headed, but segregation wasn't roses and candy. There was a problem. And that's all I wanted to say.
I want you to stay on here because I want to challenge you on what you're saying. First of all, you stated everything you had to say very eloquently, and I'm glad you were listening, because you could have easily misinterpreted what I said, but you didn't, because you heard everything I said. I didn't say nobody else. I said me too. I'm saying all of us. We're not men because our children don't have nobody to call, because women and children call their men to protect them, and we don't have, our women don't have no men to call. That was my point. But now, I want to go to something that you said, and I want to remind everybody that's listening, this is going to be our last week where we're doing the live simulcast on the Live 365 station, if you're listening now. So you're going to have to listen to the blog talk for the live programming. But then 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can listen to the One Horizon Live 365 after that. But this is going to be very important. This is a very important point, because I don't want to miss this point tonight. This is, in my opinion, this is one of the major reasons why, on a philosophical level, as a race of people, we're in the condition that we're in. This is what happens. If you were a person like Robert F. Williams, who was organizing black men and women to arm themselves to stop the lynchings and the murders in Monroe, North Carolina, which at that time was the regional headquarters of the Klan, it was one of the worst cities in the country in terms of Klan activity. Once he started that chapter and they started shooting back, literally, the violence went from almost like intense in one of the worst places in the country to one of the most peaceful places for black people in the country, because the whites knew that black folks would shoot back. Now, in the midst of them doing that, who was getting up telling black folk to not support what he was doing? Who was going out there speaking against him? Who was being paid by white folks and organized by white folks to fight against him? Martin Luther King. I mean, many others. He wasn't the only one. But I'm saying, though, this is what we do. Right now, we're trying to fight for our people. Some Uncle Tom come out there and fight what we're doing. And we hate them because we know that they're going to let our people die. So what we're saying, when you say the stuff that you're saying now, is what we should do, we should love that Uncle Tom that fights against us that's organized for our people. We should make them a hero, and then 10 minutes before they die, they can say, I was wrong, we should have stood up, and now they become a hero. And all the people that do the real work and put their lives on the line and really go out here and fight and actually take some heads, to hell with them. We're gonna make a hero out of somebody who, when the battle was hot, when the fires was cracking, was standing on the opposite side of us. Don't misunderstand me. I do understand what you're saying. And the reason I bring Martin Luther King up, and I don't talk about Rosa Parks was a freedom fighter. She was a Garveyite. She packed the pistol. She when sisters was getting raped, she ran down there with her pistol ready to pop, and we're going to stop this stuff from happening. She was a freedom fighter. I'm not saying that Brother Martin Luther King at some point in his life didn't think that way at some point, but I will say this. The bulk of what he did was fight against the freedom fighters and tell our people to put their guns down. When our people already was armed, all they need to be done is shown how to shoot and made confident to do it. And the people that were getting our people to do that, he was fighting against them. So yes, he did a few good things, but it's treasonous for us who are out here telling our people to stand up for themselves to make the hero of the integrationists, the God of the integrationists, a hero, and then tell our people that we're responsible, and then expect them to do something and want to organize when we're telling them to love somebody that told them to put their hands down and go up and get beat up upside your head. And I'm not saying it wasn't brave, but it was stupid. Listen, he was getting told by small hats what to do. Why do you feel the need to make him into a hero, brother?
You know, brother, I don't. What I wanted to do was respect the brother, but I feel you, and I can't even argue with you because I consider myself to be a reasonable and fair person, and I cannot argue with anything you just said, especially when you defended yourself, when you elaborated on it a little more. But it's just, at first I was like, look, let's not. My only thing when I came in was like, I get a little uncomfortable with the fact that at least he stood up. But I feel you, like you said, I'm not even trying to continue to defend my point. I'm just further explaining where I was coming from. And at least he stood up. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say to what you're saying. I don't want to be dishonest. Sometimes I feel guilty because I know that what I'm saying is right, but it hurts because I grew up loving Martin Luther King. But what happened is I had to really say to myself, look my ancestors in the face and say, how can I say, phrase in that term, glory to God, the man with the spirit of God, the Muhammad, and then defend a man who would have fought against every single one of those men? How can I say we're against the homosexual agenda when he was running around the country with a fag at a time when no black man could do that, and sleeping in the same room with this fag when no other black man, Negro Uncle Tom's wasn't with that gay stuff back then? How can I have a position of all these positions? We against interracial marriage, and he tried to marry interracially, just the female wouldn't do it. I'm not beating him up because people make mistakes, but I'm just saying he represents every pillar of white supremacy that's trying to destroy us. And then we try to show some respect for him, but he ain't never shown no respect for our people. He wasn't out there showing no respect for Garvey. Have you ever heard him once say something positive about Marcus Garvey?
No, but I want to say this because I want to tell you, I'm 26, and when I first started out getting into black consciousness and calling myself a black nationalist and considering myself a black militant, because I say all the time, I don't know why we as black men as a collective haven't gone out, and I have dreams about guerrilla war with the government. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I used to call Martin Luther King a coon. But then I started to see Kwame Ture in his old age talk about how he regrets attacking Martin because what he always expected about Martin is no matter what him and Malcolm and everybody else said about Martin, that Martin would never verbally attack him back. And this is video I've seen of Kwame say this. This is not no hearsay. And then the same thing with John Henrik Clarke. He said, look, Martin was wrong about the integration, but he died for our people. And that's where I started to say, okay, if my ancestors respect this guy, I got to respect him. And even Malcolm, before he died, he was trying to, him and Martin was trying to join forces. And that's why I went from loving Martin Luther King, like you said, growing up loving him. But then when I started to get some awareness and seeing Malcolm stuff, I was like, man, Martin Luther King was a coon. But then when I started to see Kwame Ture and all these other guys say, hey, whoa with that, that's when I came back around and saying, I'm still not going to come up here and co-sign integration because they did. But I feel like it would be disrespectful to them to disrespect him when they respected him before they died. And you know what? I appreciate that. Now, I'm going to say this. This is going to be super controversial. I'm going to keep it real. I believe, personally, part of the reason that we're in this situation is because the biggest Christians in the black community are Pan-Africans. And what I mean by that is we love black people so much, even when somebody do what Martin Luther King does, we going to turn the other cheek and love him and try to find a reason to love him because he did something. And what I'm saying is this. We got to get over this thing because we love our people so much. We pass on the tolerance for integrationism and love for white folks and Uncle Tomism. We should not be given license to it by rubber stamping the God of the integrationists. And I'm going to be honest, I would have to be critical with everybody. Even myself, I've done it in the past. Try to go back and forth. I've changed my mind now.
Either we want to fight and do something for ourselves or we don't. If we want to fight for our freedom, we got thousands of people whose names we can talk about. It is irresponsible and it is counter-revolutionary and it's almost bordering on treasonous for any black person who calls yourself a Pan-African, an African nationalist, a black nationalist, to throw Martin Luther King's name in with any real freedom fighter. You can say he was an activist. You can say that he was a courageous man. But if you're an African nationalist, why is his name coming up anyway? It's irresponsible. It means that we don't really believe in Brother Garvey. Because if you really believe in Garvey, Martin Luther King's name don't even come up. If you really believe in Dr. Khaled, Martin Luther King, you can't even say that Martin Luther King and Dr. Khaled fit in the same space. Even if Dr. Khaled says that, I got to be like, I appreciate your Christian, we love our people, because we all got that. Even me, I do it sometimes, try to love somebody that really is just a low life. But you be trying to extend yourself because we want to work. We can't all work together, okay? That Christian stuff don't work. We got to say, here are the good guys, here are the bad guys. I have to say it real. Martin Luther King's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. So he do some good stuff, yeah, but so does the devil. Yeah. Satan did some good stuff. He's a bad guy. And the reason I say it's important to do that, right now when we're looking at what we're looking at, if we did what Martin Luther King told us to do and what he gave us instructions, we'd be right in the same condition we're in. In fact, we did everything he told us to do. Love everybody, integrate, look at whites as our friends and families, hold hands with little white boys, now black boys holding hands with white boys. We a bunch of homos, don't take care of our family, marrying outside of our, we did everything he told us to do and we lose. How can we make him a hero? I know you're not arguing with me. I'm really arguing with the point. I'm not really arguing with you. I just need you as a platform to make this argument, that's all.
No, that's cool, man. Like I said, what you're saying, I can't say, oh, you're wrong or it's untrue. I just like I explained. I explained the reason for my hesitation with what you were saying and why. But you went on further to reiterate yourself. And look, man, we're under siege and we're under death by this cracker. And I agree. We can't integrate. We can't work with everybody. We can't work with these black feminists. Can't work with these coons. We can't work with these homosexuals. It's not happening. It's not happening. So I agree. It's just like I said. I came in the spirit of coming from feeling corrected by my ancestors about Martin Luther King. So I was like, well, I don't know if I can join in this. But you know what? What you're saying is true, brother. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. And look, don't ever hesitate. I love your spirit and your strength. Don't ever hesitate to call up, because one time, it wasn't this time, I don't think, but one time you're going to call up, I'm going to be dead wrong, and I'm going to need you to correct it. So I say, you know what, let me get the right path. You do what you do. So,
all right, brother.
All right, straight black pride. And I want everybody out here to be clear. It's not just, because you say, what does this have to do? What does Martin Luther King have to do? He got everything to do with this. We're under siege now. And now that our people are going to see that we're under siege, we got to start cleaning the record. Because we got to know what instructions we can follow to get ourselves out of this situation. And we cannot keep confusing our people. Somebody got to be courageous, and like it tends to be, it's me. So I'll go ahead and be the courageous one. We don't have to sit around here and because it's the politically correct thing to do to make heroes out of villains. Even if you don't believe he's a villain, I'm saying it is irresponsible to bring him up as a freedom fighter. I'm not saying you got to talk about Martin Luther King like I do. I'm doing it for a political reason. It's true, though. But politically, we cannot have another generation going around with this coonery and this foolishness and this loved-up nonsense that our children are running around with now, that we allow them to give them, keep the dream alive, all of this foolishness that's completely, it's utter stupidity. And they're killing our people in front of our face. And the only thing that we've given our people to fight that in our youth is this integration nonsense. And Martin Luther King is a pure representative of that. Even if he made a change, whatever little change he made is disrespectful to Rosa Parks to bring his name up. It's just, if you're an African nationalist, I expect it from a Negro. I expect it from a lost brother or sister, or somebody who's just in a consciousness and doesn't really know. That's fine. From a person who is serious about racial progress, who knows if you're around One Horizon, you know what the issues are confronting our people, because we make it clear for you to know what you're facing. He was wrong on every one of them. It's irresponsible to take somebody who's wrong on every major issue that is being, the buttons that are being pushed for black genocide for you to talk about loving them, and that's why we're in this condition, because our people are Martin Luther King Jr. minded. If we wasn't taught that way, if we were brought up organized properly, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. We would be men. But this effeminization through this we are the world, love fest, non-racial identity having, can we all get along, holding hands stuff is killing us. And now when we have the fuel that we need, we see what they're doing to our people to organize and come together. Even now it's hard to organize because we don't even live around each other. So we can't just go into somebody's house and say everybody's going to meet there. We can't do that. We in the city, we trying to figure out where we're going to meet. We don't even know where we can meet so that we can discuss what we need to do, much less do anything. So then we get relegated to, can I find an attorney or something? I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. I'm saying if we don't talk about what's messed up, then we can't correct our minds, then we can't correct the problem. We're not men. We're still a bunch of fags going around talking about it ain't everybody's fault and we got to love each other. I mean, our race is a bunch of fags. If you go out there, you don't see men. Brothers walking around with their pants hanging off their behind, all of this foolishness. In the midst of this kind of crisis and murder, where are we? You know why the men ain't out there? Because they N-words. N-words don't organize and do nothing. Ain't no group of folks ever call themselves the N-word, ever organize and do nothing for black people. Ain't nobody ever thought that way and been successful. Never. Never in the history of the world has any group of people who consider themselves N-words done nothing as a group to help black people. Period. And they never will. Because if you call black people that, you hate black people. That's why the whites do it so frequently. Let's go 0961. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Hello, Brother Jimmy.
How you doing?
I listen to your show frequently, and I'm a little disturbed that you point the finger at my generation and say that it is because of us that we are in the situation that we're in. I am not a supporter of segregation, but where Martin Luther King is concerned, he put the spotlight on our situation around the world to show that we were a nonviolent people and that we were educated and that the white people were sick and that when we went in these restaurants, what we had to face, when we tried to go to schools, what we were up against, that they did not want us to have education, that they did not want us to enjoy the finer things in life that they were enjoying. So you may point the finger at Martin Luther King and say that he should not be mentioned in the same breath as freedom fighters, but he did put something on the table. He made our situation known around the world. And for that, I have to give him credit. That's the first point that I wanted to make. And the second point that I wanted to make is that we're looking at these white people as if they are normal. And there is nothing normal about them. They are just as loony as you can imagine, as the Looney Tunes that they put on TV. They are loony, very disturbed people. And that's what we fail to imagine. What we fail to look at. We are not looking at them for the crazed people that they are. They're very disturbed mentally, and they're causing us to be disturbed. I mean, they're making us crazy by trying to follow behind them, by listening to them, by doing what they suggest. They're making us crazy. You cannot build a life for yourself. We cannot build our civilization listening to these people. And that's the last point that I would like to make, and I'd like for you to comment.
I will. And would you like to stay on while I comment?
Yes, I would.
Okay. The first of all, I appreciate you calling, and I'm glad. I want people to challenge me because I don't want to just say it and nobody has the right to say it because it's not the right way to do it. We should have dialogue, and that's why I didn't say anything while you were speaking, and I let the brother get his thing out first too before I commented. Really, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love you to death because you call a lot, and I appreciate what you call with. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think you could have better stated my point than what you just said. See, when I listen to what you were saying, first of all, I know it's the way that they share the information, but it's not accurate when we say that Dr. Martin Luther King did a lot of these things that we're talking about. We look at a lot of those sit-in with the students. A lot of the students were involved in that, and a lot of this direct confrontation, he wasn't necessarily with all of that. Number two, a lot of the people that were doing a lot of the things that were the reason why the whites got any, okay, let me say it like this. The reason why a lot of this stuff was seen to the world was because the real black people who was doing stuff, they did not want them to be seen. So they used Martin Luther King as an alternative to the real black folks that was out there fighting because they did not want the black collective masses to continue to go that direction. So he was used to create a wedge, and then to really where I got to really be honest with you, what you said that really hurts a lot because that's why I say your generation made some very, very bad moves. So you said he wanted to show that we were educated. Well, we were educated as far back as Martin Delaney. We were educated, so it sounds like what you're saying is if we educated, we don't get killed. But Brother Louis Ali's grandfather was a well-to-do businessman, very respected, good brother, helping his community. They killed him too. They didn't kill black people because of whether or not we were educated or not. In fact, the better we were doing is why they killed us. So the object was not to be presented in a certain way. Like you said, we're fighting demons. But Martin Luther King didn't say we was fighting demons. Martin Luther King said when they murdered those four little black girls, when he went down there, he told them people, this is the time we must not give up hope in our white brothers and sisters. He said, if we don't have support from our white brothers and sisters, we can do nothing. We can't win. So he was not out there telling us, like you saying, that these whites are wicked demons. Matter of fact, it was Elijah Muhammad that said the whites were the devil. Martin Luther King never taught nobody that. Even the very things that you're saying contradict themselves because on the one hand, you're saying these whites are demonistic and sick, which is the same thing Brother Garvey taught, which is the same thing that everybody else I named taught. Martin Luther King never taught that. Martin Luther King never taught that. In fact, he was teaching more that those of us who didn't like white folks were sick and that we were fueled with hatred and that was not the right thing to do to defend black communities. He wasn't helping our people. I'm saying I think that if we really look at this, if you minus Dr. Martin Luther King from the equation, you have people like Robert F. Williams who ended up in China with Mao Zedong saying we put the full weight of the Chinese government behind black people's right for freedom, and then had a group of folks, Dr. King didn't do this one, but Whitney Young and the others writing letters back to China saying, no, we're not in favor of that. We don't want any help from China. We're doing just okay over here in America. I'm saying that to say, when your generation passed down to us that it's about just getting your education, as opposed to passing down to us, you have to get your education because these white folks are devils. You have to work together because these white folks are devils. It don't matter how much education you get, you have to use that to do for self because these white folks will destroy you. Instead, that generation mostly taught us to love everybody, to judge people by the content of their character, and honestly, the number one hero that y'all gave us was Martin Luther King, who everything he told us is now being proved to be a fallacy and a farce, and we are doing what he said. When you said that we're now following white folks, yeah, we're doing exactly what Martin Luther King told us to do. Martin Luther King ran around with a fag in broad daylight and took him to meetings that were political meetings and gave him, everywhere he went, he had this guy. So now our people are going around with homosexuals representing our cause who are only trying to sodomize our children just like Barrett Rustin did. That's what he done. I can't undo that for him. We're looking at the false picture. Look, in your generation, you have freedom fighters whose names we should know, who got written off in history because we got a bad deal. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying the reality of it is we didn't need, you saying that they was giving us bad schooling. Most people don't know that when they were trying to force this integration in the South, the black folks did not want to integrate the schools. Most of the sensible black people said, what we're looking for, we pay tax dollars, we want the same amount of money. Do you know that North Carolina said they were so much against integration that what they were willing to do was to even out the amount of money that they give to the black school system. They broke down and finally said, as long as you don't bring your children to our community, okay, fine. We'll split the money in half. You get your money, we get our money. And the Negro leadership, Dr. Martin Luther King style, said, no, we want to be with you, boss. Y'all gave us, y'all sold us a lie, and we took that lie, and it is killing us. And this is the thing, I'm not blaming you per se, because when I talk to young people, I tell them our generation lied to them and gave them hip-hop, which does nothing but take their self-esteem and tell them that they have no value. We tell them that they're N-word. I apologize for that. What I'm saying is your generation should apologize to us for Martin Luther King and that foolish dream of loving some white folks and not telling us, just like you just did now, that these are some sick, demented, crazed lunatics that we're dealing with, and the only way we're going to survive is to organize, work with one another, build strong families, and keep them out of our affairs. Y'all should have done that, and y'all didn't do that. Well, the ones that did that, but as a generation, y'all didn't keep that, and that's not the overall message that y'all gave us, in my opinion.
Well, I just want to clear up that what I was saying is that he brought the situation to light on how we were being treated when we were nonviolent, and that's pretty much all that I got out of that, and that's the only credit that I give Martin Luther King. I do not give him credit for segregation. All right, so I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
I am totally against segregation with white people.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you, sister. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the platform to speak. I enjoy your show. This is a great topic.
Thank you. We appreciate it, sister. Straight Black Pride. I'm going to tell you why I really appreciated that phone call, because I know that what we're saying tonight, honestly, some people probably thought I had planned it. It didn't. It just happened. Sometimes the spirit just hits. I don't even know how we got here. What I do know is this. It's calling me. It's telling me, I'm not trying to beat up on any generation, because, again, I beat up on us for what we did with hip-hop and we gave our younger generation. But it's time that we become accountable, brothers and sisters. We can't double talk. And we all do it. I mean, I've done it. Martin Luther King, let's get all that, what he was some good. We got people who did it every day. Brother Garvey, he did it every day. Why do we talk about Martin Luther King? The sister did make a point. He did bring some stuff to light, but so what? I mean, you got people that brought stuff to light too. You got people that brought more stuff to light. Why are we going to take somebody who was running around with a fag, and we have a fag problem now? We know we have a fag problem now. He had a fag problem back then when black people were sensible enough not to have a fag problem, and we're going to make him a hero. I mean, are we so unknowledgeable about our own history, which I know part of the answer is yes, because the white folks sure ain't going to give us the real heroes. We don't know to teach about Harriet Tubman and dig more into her life and see that she was the most successful general in the Union Army. We don't know about Sojourner Truth, who told us that the issues of slavery and how they made our families and the men irresponsible and how they got us dependent on the Freedmen's Bureau for money and we weren't doing for self, that these problems were going to plague us for generations. She was a freedom fighter, but she was also an educator and a community activist and a philosopher who was telling us that these things have to be addressed. Mothers in the home, fathers being in the home and taking care of the mothers, us having some loyalty as families and having some decency and respect, Stop the sexual abuse and they didn't call it that back then, but whatever they called it, these horrible practices that we developed from being on a plantation. We have people we can talk about, Ida B. Wells Barnett. We have Carlos Cooks. I mean, we have freedom fighters, man. They was fighting whiteys. They wasn't trying to marry no crackers. They was marrying them to the night. We have people that was putting in good, sound work. And it's not the argument of did Martin Luther King do something or did he do nothing. The argument is, who are we if we say that our objective is to save our race, and we say that we're the freedom fighters to say we don't want to be integrated with these whites, we have our own history and culture, we want to be independent, we want to fight for our people, and then we pick the very people who did the very opposite and taught us the opposite, and then make them heroes. It makes no sense. Let's stop giving license to behavior. I want to teach my children not to give no room to no accommodationist Negro until they come on your side. So you beat the hell out of them intellectually, you beat the heck out of them financially, and if you get in the street with them, you bust their head wide open. You beat them down until they comply to black self-esteem and black self-respect, and if they don't comply, then you just keep beating them until they done. You don't never give them no room. You don't try to be their friend. You just take from the accommodationists. You take from an assimilationist. You take. You fight them. You look at them as if they're white. They're Mobutu. This is someone that wants to love your enemy, which makes them your enemy too. And if they can't get this information, now if they lost, that's different. You give them some information to see how it works. Most of us are mistaught and miseducated. But if they get some good information and it don't have no impact and they go in even harder, then you got to make the assessment. Well, we gave them the information and they want to keep going. This is a low-life scum dog that loves the devil. If they say, well, I hear what you're saying, but then as soon as they give you that acknowledgement, you say, well, let me keep working with them because I'm going to try to pull them more this way. And you can tell them, look, you're my brother, I love you, you're my sister, I love you, but as long as you're in the accommodationist Negro stage, I'm going to have to treat you like an enemy. So come on and hurry up and get on over here with us. Let me give you some more information to see how we do this because I don't want to treat you like an enemy, but you sure acting like one. But we can show them love, but at the same time, show them a fist. Show them like my mama used to say, this is some hard, tough love. This hurts me more than it hurts you. When I talked about this Martin Luther King not being our friend, man, it hurts me worse than it hurts you, brothers and sisters. I know you hurt when you hear it, but it hurts me more than it hurts you to say these things because, I just don't like saying nothing negative about people that we love, but we got to get off this kick. Look, ain't no two ways about it. You either for black unity with all black people and us alone, and if we work with somebody outside of that, that's outside of that. We might work with anybody to get something we want done, but they're not in this circle. They just somebody we do work with to get whatever we need to get. But in our circle, as African people, it's only one race of people, black men and women with black mothers and fathers. That is our race. And if you're talking anything other than that, you are not a nationalist. You are not a black progressive person. You're not a Haitianist. You're not an African nationalist. And you don't mean our people any good. You're just an accommodationist, integrationist, Negro, and you give us the same garbage we've been getting for 6,000 years. That is why black civilization was destroyed. Why did Dr. Chancellor Williams write that book and nobody wants to read it? The destruction of black civilization. He makes it very clear. Integration is the key element in the destruction of black civilizations. We invite these crackers in and we let these black folk let these crackers in, they destroy everything. Let's stop playing games. We don't need nobody else to fix this problem except for our people. And once we get organized, if somebody else sees that we doing something and it helps us to work with them to get it, we do it strategically. After it's done, we look at them and we finish whatever we get from that. We look at them and see where we are with them. If they're still cool, we leave it cool. If it's not, we go at war, but it don't really matter. We just looking out for us. Anybody talking anything else is not a friend. They are an enemy. Let's stop tap dancing around these integrationists. The reason that we do it is because we don't want to be accountable, and we don't want to be honest, and we don't want to criticize nobody, which is why the irritated Jenny is always the one saying something about somebody, because all the rest of the people who are supposed to be leaders are cowards. Nobody will speak out against the stuff that's killing our people. So I'm going to start with the kingfish, the king integrationist Negro accommodationist that we fall in love with, Martin Luther King Jr. And once we drag that down, then we got to pull Frederick Douglass in. I mean, that one hurt me more than Martin Luther King. Because, I mean, there was a good Frederick. I don't care what nobody say. Him fighting slavery was real. What I didn't know is that he was also fighting us being independent. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was staunchly against us being independent. He was staunchly against any relationship we would have with Africa. He was staunchly in favor of marrying white, so much that he married white females. I just thought that was a mistake he made. No, it's much deeper than that. He was staunchly integrationist. He fought against the black people who were saying, let's build our own community. He fought against them. I cannot make him a friend. I read parts of Abibifahodie's book, and she said she was staunchly against interracial dating until she met the greatest black man of our time, Frederick Douglass, and how she came to the Frederick Douglass and met with him and saw how the black women in D.C. were so angry with him and treated him so badly because he had married this white female, and how she had reconsidered her position, and now she realized that she was always wrong to not like white females and look at them in that way, and interracial dating, that she should open her mind to that, and she had changed her mind because she had met the great Frederick Douglass. So now he uses his position as this great black man and orator that black people love and respect to push in the minds of black women at that time the fact that it's cool to throw our sisters away and marry white females. And then now you got Abibifahodie arguing and upset with the sisters for being mad at him for marrying a Peckerwood when it was all those beautiful sisters in the city of D.C. that he could have married. How are we going to get mad? And she ain't no, look, she's respecting him because he's on his level. Buck stops with the irritated genie. All this love of middle dudes, forget the middle dudes and the middle women. We got real freedom fighters that were solid, not perfect. They're going to be something we disagree with them on. That's fine. It don't matter. That's not what we're saying. They wasn't perfect. What we're saying is they were perfectly in line with doing for self. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was by no means perfect, but man, he was perfect enough for me. Ain't nothing he told us that if we listen to him that in dealing with these white folks that don't work. He told us they are devils, they not your brothers, that they're dirty and they're wicked, and if you'll be around them and be like them, you'll become decadent yourself, and you'll mistreat your own women and children, and that the black men must protect our women and children, and we must be upstanding, eat right, have a healthy diet. I mean, you can't even really, everything that we doing is right, Elijah Muhammad taught us. Everything we doing is right, Brother Garvey taught us. Yes, they made mistakes, but when you measure their scales of my eye, the negative stuff go flying up in the sky because they got so much weight on the good stuff that they done. Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, the weight of the good he done to whatever he did bad, go sending the bad stuff flying up in the air. It ain't nothing on the scale. It feel like it's less than a feather. Their hearts they'll walk right through that lake of fire. I ain't got no problem with that. But I'm saying Martin Luther King, I don't know. I wouldn't let him in my heaven. I don't want him singing them. He's a singing dude. That brother can speak. He start talking, I might get some, well, you know, we shouldn't hate all the crackers. No, I'm not letting him in. Let me go. I'm going to go one more call, then we're going to go to our break in the middle. 1407, praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, and long live the spirit of Khalid Abdul Muhammad. This is Craftswoman, the one who has the commercial with you, Candace created in the chat room. I just wanted to, how you doing?
Beautiful, beautiful. Matter of fact, tell everybody before you get going, I want you to tell everybody about what you have and where they can get it and how they can order your candles. They are beautiful. We've heard great things about them. Please share that with our listening audience.
Okay, thank you. I am located in Dallas, and I have handmade candles. I have the Ankh, the Pyramid, the Star, the Buddha. I can make the red, black, and green candles. I also teach candle making classes. So I travel to Atlanta to do that and all around. So, you could just go to my website, candlescreated.com. I have 2 web stores, Etsy, and then there's another web store that I sell them on. And also, if you're in Dallas, you can come locally and buy some. But what I want to say is about the video. I have friends that I grew up in Oak Cliff. I heard the first caller who was talking, and it's totally, black. Well, mostly now, but little regentrification in some areas. But it's the area that people are afraid of. They don't want to go to Oak Cliff. And one of my friends that I went to school with, is from Oak Cliff, and she lives out of McKinney. And so she wanted to do a play date once, and she said, well, you know, you can come out here, but I don't want to go anywhere out here. I said, what do you mean we can't go? Like if we want to go to the movies or the bowling alley, you know, so our children can play together. She said, well, I don't like going out here because it's racist. And I'm like, well, why did you even move out there? And so like the first caller was saying is that when we get a little money, that's where we want to move further out north. And I don't even like going out there. When I don't see myself, when I don't see anybody who looks like me, I don't want to be in the area.
And, you know, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. In all my life that I've been out of college, where I've been on my own, I've never lived in a community that was less than 90% black. Like, every community that I've lived in by my own choosing has been pretty much like you don't see anybody in that community but black people. And I'm going to be honest. I don't have anything particular against Hispanics. I know that there's a lot of stuff happening now on the West Coast, and that's beginning to make me feel some kind of way. But I'm going to be 100% honest. We have, like, Hispanics moving in the community I live in now. And it's the weirdest thing. I don't have nothing against them as a people per se, but I ain't going to lie. I hate the feeling of it.
Right.
I realized growing up in D.C., and it sounds like what you're saying, where I grew up in Southeast, it was all black. I'm so used to being in an all-black environment, it makes me feel like I'm under siege when I see somebody that don't look like me in my community. It turns my stomach. It makes me, I ain't gonna lie, it makes me kind of violent towards them. Not that I physically do it, but I'm looking at them like, what you doing here? This ain't, unless you visiting to buy something and supporting something you're doing, you ain't really supposed to be here. And I'm finding myself more and more getting like, I mean, of course, I'm already like that with the Asians around here, but it's like, I don't like to see that. So I understand what you're saying. Our people are the reverse. We want to move wherever the white folks are.
Right.
We need to be looking for where are the black communities. And where, here's, let me ask you this, because I want to be real now. Let me ask you this, because you're bringing up a point, and I think there's a real legitimate question I should be able to ask you. Is it fair to say that in a lot of black neighborhoods, black people who are doing okay would like to live there, except that it's not safe enough for them to live there? Is that real, or is that something we believe?
Right, that's true, but there are also black suburbs. There are black, and when I lived in Atlanta, there are several black suburbs where there are black people who have money, the crime is low, the schools are good, they have parks, nice areas. So we still have our own areas. There are even black suburbs here, like the DeSoto area I know is really known for the, I guess, affluent black people to live at, where the crime, it's not bad, like you are afraid, you have to always live in fear. So, yes, I understand that crime factor. Nobody wants to live where they just know that somebody's going to break in their house, you know, where it's liquor stores, where people are hanging out, where that ghetto type of, you know, stigma is around. Nobody wants to live around that, but we do have choices. We don't have to move all the way out there, but the people that I know live out there, when I go and visit them, they feel proud. They feel like they have made it, and they don't want to see anybody that looks like us, even like the DeSoto areas and different places around there where the, you know, where the people, the affluent black people live. They don't want to live there because to them, to justify their status of having made it, it's in the white neighborhood. And they say if they move out further, I'm going to move out further. So that's the way that they think. But one thing in the video that you could see is that the training or the learning that those children have, they were so submissive. Like the little boys, I don't know if you saw the one where the white mother was breaking up the fight between the black teenager and the white teenager. Did you see that they were pulling each other hair?
Yeah, I saw that.
And she hit that girl on the head. And the boys were just trying to pull them off. Nobody defended her. And, I mean, you a grown woman, and you going to sit up here and just hit this little girl knowing that there's no adult around. And also on the other video, there was a black man who was standing there trying to calm the girl down while the police was on top of her. And then that white fat man was just sitting up there like bodyguarding the police. Like, I mean, what I was like, what are there any parents? And then,
let me ask you your honest opinion. And I want you to be honest with me. I'm gonna ask you a really hard question. But I want to hear from a black woman, and I ain't give you no preparation for it, so I know it's a hard question. Realistically, be honest with us now. What would you have preferred that black man do in that situation? Tell us what, if you could draw it right now.
I think
I'm saying, looking at it right now, if you were looking at this video, out of anything you would have wanted him to do, tell me exactly what you would have wanted him to do in that situation.
Well, I guess I wouldn't say like fight the police, which they would be reactionary, and then there would have been people dead. But I don't think that I think he should have been probably conversing with the officer and not trying to,
Let me ask you a question. You just did something, and I'm not beating up you at all. This is what happened to anybody that was in a situation. I noticed something. I asked you what you would have liked to see, and your first answer was, "Well, I wouldn't say this," which obviously it tells me that's really what you think should have happened. But you don't want to see the brother die. But here's the thing: I didn't ask you what you wanted the consequences of the behavior to be. I'm asking you a question again. You are a black woman. The world is listening. If you say anything else, then you will probably be calling right back in and complaining about that. I'm going to ask you again. You just give us an honest answer. If you were watching the video, what would you have liked to see that black man do when he started beating on this black girl?
I would like for the man to have addressed verbally the police officer. I didn't say fight, because I know if he would have jumped on him.
I see you going into all of the consequences. So in other words, you're saying if that man was there talking to the police while they were beating on that girl, you'd have been cool with that?
It would have been better than just sitting up there telling her, calm down.
Wait a minute. I didn't ask you it would have been better. I said, if that man would have sitting there and been talking to the police verbally and challenging them verbally while they did the same thing they did, you'd have been okay with that?
In a certain way, yeah. He should have been saying something. Now, reactionary, I felt like it was more of them than the police officers. That's just what I felt on the reactionary level.
No, I agree with you. You're talking about the children. I ain't talking about the children now. There's only one black.
I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about everybody who was black. It was more of them than than the white people that were around. So they could have physically done something, but I didn't say that's really what I wanted to happen. But I'm thinking about, okay, realistically, they would have been killed and it would have been something else. But if he could have addressed.
I'm not asking you about the results. And I hear what you're doing. I like what you're doing, because you're saying you don't want to ask somebody to do something. But I'm doing something different. Everybody here knows we're not asking anybody to get killed. It needs to be said, because what's happening here is, essentially, you're not meaning to do it, but what you're basically saying is he should have done what he did, because him saying a few words ain't going to address the police beating this little girl. I'm going to ask you again. Forget about Forget about the consequences of it, because right now we're not looking at what the consequences are. What I'm saying is, you're a black woman. You saw what the police were doing to that little girl, and there was a grown adult man out there. What would you have liked to see him do?
I mean, attack the officer, but I would want him to get help from everybody. Should have attacked the officers, because it was only 3 of them.
So basically, you're saying that he should have defended that little girl from getting terrorized and brutalized by those officers. You would have liked.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel without thinking of the consequences. That's how I feel that would have happened. I know if I was there, if other people, my family was there, it just would have been, you would have been thinking out of just reaction, not thinking, oh, he's going to do this to me, but just you seeing a girl laying down on the ground with his knee, just basically abusing her. That's just a natural reaction. I would have felt better of them just attacking the officer, but then, of course, like you said, not thinking of the consequences, it should have been some attacks, because they don't feel like we fight back. That's the only reason why they continue to do these different things, because the children were so scared. They were saying, oh, sir, we didn't do this. Even if they could have even just been silent and just maybe had a certain stance that they took to let them know that they're not fearful.
Let me ask you this.
But just to be,
What did you think about the young brother who ran up? It was clear he was about to pop the police in his head, and then the police pulled the gun out on him. What did you think about him when he ran up to the police officer?
Oh yeah, that was fine. Yeah, he was protecting. But did you see how when he came back, he was like limping? They beat him up around the corner.
Mm.
They did something to him because when he came back, he was limping and he was spitting. And then I think the white boy who was videotaping was saying, "You okay? You okay?" Like he was trying to help them. And what we also got to understand is that I was gonna say my friend is letting her son play with these white friends. Like you can't let your children play with them and think that they gonna get treated the same. Yeah, he had the camera. He was like, "Oh, where's your phone? Where's your phone?" He wasn't trying to defend them. So it's integration. That's just the reality of what it has to be. Okay, we got to live on earth with them. Okay, whatever. But it needs to be a certain attitude that is taught of how we should deal with them. And there needs to be unity. If we gonna fight back, it can't be just the one grown man jumping on them. Everybody needs to be in unison. All the boys, all the girls, everybody should have been doing something. 3 cops and all of them.
That's right.
So that's the way I feel.
Well, look, do this. You got me charged up. You talking real talk. Do me a favor. Give your information about your wonderful candles and where people can get them again, and let everybody know that. And then we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we're going to come right back to our program.
Okay. You can go to my website, candlescreated.com, to get more information. You can call me at 214-659-1RBG. Email address is craftswoman@gmail.com. So those are my contact information. I can mail with you. I can also meet with you. We have Addison location in Dallas.
Well, my sister, it's been a wonderful call. We really appreciate your support. We want to hope everybody go out there. This sister threw down for us tonight. Go out there and buy those candles and brighten up your home. Give them a nice aroma, and be black and proud. Thank you, my sister. Straight black proud.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right, brother. So we're going to go to a very quick commercial break, and we're going to come right back. We're getting all our calls tonight because people want to talk. I really appreciate her putting, I know it's hard for our sisters because they don't want to encourage our brothers to do nothing that's going to get us hurt, but not standing up and not fighting gets us hurt. And she was able to bring herself to say, yeah, she would have liked to see the brother step in there and try to resist and physically try to protect those children from the terrorism that they were facing. And I agree with her wholeheartedly, even though I can't say what I would have done because I wasn't there. All I can say is I was disturbed by what I saw. And I know if it was my daughter, which it was my daughter, which I keep reminding myself, I know that emotionally I couldn't go to sleep at night, not do anything. I don't know what I would do then or what I would do later, but I'm going to tell you this. I couldn't go to sleep and couldn't sleep until I'd done something that I felt like put something on the board, whether it was that officer or not. I'd do something. It would be a definitive thing. And matter of fact, even seeing this, it makes me feel like tonight I'm doing something. We're rousing up that energy to get our people prepared for the reality. Just so you are clear, her website is candles with an S, CANDLES, created.com. Go there. You're going to really love the products that she has, brothers and sisters. So we're going to go to our commercial break right now.
Craftswoman Consulting and Personal Services, offering wholesale shea butter, waist beads, pyramid, and aunt candles. Call 214-659-1RBG or visit candlescreated.com. Order custom designs. Choose color and fragrance. Call 214-659-1RBG or visit candlescreated.com. Candle making classes available and more. Call 214-659-1RBG or visit candlescreated.com.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to praise Nat Turner,
the Warm Horizons program. Black family, we have the Straight Black Pride event coming up in Chicago, Illinois on June 13th. That's next Saturday, June 13th at 4 p.m. The event starts. It's going to be held at Culture Connection 360 Degrees. That's located at 400 West 71st Street in Chicago, Illinois. 60621. Again, that's Culture Connection 360 Degrees, 400 West 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60621. Tickets cost $13. You can purchase tickets in advance at eventbrite.com. Just search for War on the Horizon, sponsored by African Unification, Chicago chapter. And again, the title is going to be Straight Black Pride, Organize, Unify, Build, Fight. For more information, you can call 708-248-4376. Again, that's 708-248-4376. Next up, on June 28th, Sunday, June 28th, in Brooklyn, Kim Simon Family and Friends will present the annual Father's and Family Day celebration, featuring the Irritated Genie, Professor James Smalls, and Dr. Ali Muhammad. Brother Irritated Genie will be speaking on maintaining our straight black pride. Again, this is hosted by King Simon. It will be held at Nicholas in Brooklyn. That's located at 570 Fulton Street, between Flatbush and Ashland. Doors open at 2 p.m. The advance ticket price is $20 in advance or any time before 3 p.m. And after 3 p.m., it's going to be $30. It's free for all young people, 17 and under. For more information, please call 347-496-1022. Again, that's 347-496-1022. And that's June 28th in Brooklyn, the annual Father's and Family Day celebration featuring Irritated Genie. Also, Black Family, we are letting you know that we have available the newest lecture from Irritated Genie, I'm Conscious Now What? You can purchase a DVD by going to waronthehorizon.com, clicking on store, and clicking on mail order DVDs. That'll get you the hard copy of the DVD. Or if you would like to get the electronic copy where you can download it instantly and play it on your laptop or iPad, you can go to waronthehorizon.net. Again, that's waronthehorizon.net for all electronic downloads. Black family, if you would like the Irritated Genie to come to your city or your town, please give us a call at 202-309-9106. Again, that's 202-309-9106. You can also email us at liberation@waronthehorizon.com. That's liberation@waronthehorizon.com. Thank you for listening, Black family. If you'd like to call in to pose a question or comment to tonight's program, just dial 347-856-1836. Again, the call and number for tonight's program is 347-850-1836. Thank you, Black family. Straight Black Pride.
Let me ask you a question. Are we still broadcasting on Live 365 right now?
We are still on Live 365 broadcasting.
Okay, I just want to let everybody know. Thank you, Queen.
Oh, wait 1 second.
Hello? 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 All right, brothers and sisters, if you're listening live on Live 365, Live 365, we are continuing. The station will continue to exist, but on each Monday, you know what? I think I'm gonna change my mind on that. I think we're gonna continue to broadcast live there because I think a lot of people stay tuned to that and then tune on. We'll let you know if you tune in at 7 o'clock any night and you don't hear the program, then go to the Blog Talk because most times we will broadcast live from Live 365, but there'll be times when we don't. And when we don't, you'll just have to listen on Blog Talk. That's how we'll do it. Because for those of you who like listening there so that you can listen to some of the program that comes on that, I'm not going to change that for you. But there will be times that we're not broadcasting live on a Live 365. And when those times occur, I would just like you to make sure you know that you can tune into Blog Talk. And you can always listen to anything you miss on Blog Talk. It's available directly right the next day so you can get to it. So let me do this, brothers and sisters. What we're going to do now, I'm going to go to my phone calls, but we got like a gazillion calls. So what I want to do, we only got like 40 minutes, but we're going to obviously go over tonight, so it's no problem. But I'd ask if you could ask a brief question or make a brief comment and keep it to one comment or question. So even if your comment is not 100% brief, if you could just keep it to one comment or question, that would help us because we have a lot of calls on here tonight, and I want to make sure everybody gets on, and I want to be able to at least go to sleep by 1 o'clock tonight, so let's see if we can make this thing happen. I'm going to go, let me tell you what order you coming in, 5209-8284. You're going to my brother in Cincinnati, 9522-1191, 6789-8111, 3497-0254, or 0254 I think already gone. So if you've already gone, I won't come back to you. So let's just jump right into it. Let me go to Chi-Town. Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, be long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Khalid Abdul Muhammad. How you doing tonight?
Hey man, we trying to keep it together. How about you, brother?
All right. I see this conversation tonight shifted from what happened in McKinney to integration. My point on McKinney is that happened. My opinion is that happened is because there was no proper guardianship there, meaning there was no black men chaperoning the young children, making sure everything was all right. More of a protection, and like I said, guardianship. On integration, the woman, I don't disrespect the woman that called about her generation. The continuous progression of our generations can either go left or right. We've been going left. Why we've been going left? Because the previous generations did not do their part as a whole to ensure that our race progressed. So they have to bear some percentage of the blame, and it's the bulk of the blame because the way we are now is really bad. And in Chicago, there's some good black neighborhoods. That's good black neighborhoods. So I don't know if somebody's gonna show you around. I hope folks might give you a quick show around Chicago, but where you're going is just like I would say high 90% black. Where you gonna do your lecture at?
Beautiful.
So that's about it.
Well, thank you, brother, and I really appreciate you saying that because I really love that sister spirit, and I can feel she was hurt by what we were saying by the elders. But the reason I think she was hurt is because she does agree with some of those ideas and that they have worked, and she believes that, and we're saying basically that that's wrong and that they let us down, and she feels she has a responsibility for her people, so she don't like to take that. Just like I wouldn't like to hear the young people saying, y'all gave us a bunch of BS, told us we were some N's and B's, and look what it did to us. So instead of waiting for them to say that to us, I go to them and tell them we were wrong. This is what we should have been telling you. And I'm doing that to clean up some of the damage that we've done. So I think every generation needs to correct this thing now. Now that we got our eyes clear, open for a hot minute, we need to be honest and start assessing what we're facing and really do something about our situation, brother. So thank you for that call, bro.
Oh, I apologize. The comparison between Dr. King being labeled as he went good at the end is someone like Marcus Garvey and W.B. Du Bois. Du Bois being labeled, he's the father of black nationalism when he went to Ghana and traded in his U.S. citizenship. That is really a spit in the face on the previous people that are actually fathers of black nationalists. So that's right. That's a real good comparison.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad you brought that analogy up. I think it's apropos.
Yeah, it is. All right, now you have a good night. And I really see you Saturday.
Yeah, I would definitely look forward to meeting you, brother. Straight Black Pride.
Straight Black Pride.
Yeah, we in Chi-Town this weekend. You better know it, June 13th. If you didn't get the information on time and place, just go to onehorizon.com, go into the event section, or look at the first page, onehorizon.com. Go into the site, and it's right there, the flyer right there. Don't miss it. If you miss it, maybe you ain't straight. Maybe you ain't black, and you definitely ain't proud, because how can you be proud of missing the Irritated Jenny's first live discussion and building forum in Chicago? 8284, praise Nat Turner, glory to God, with long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. What's happening, Gene?
Feeling good. How you feeling, brother?
Man, it's good. I really can't complain these days, you know what I'm saying? I could, but I won't.
Yes,
I really wanted to just get this out real quick. You know, when you look at the Emancipation Proclamation, okay, because we can go back further than that, but I'm just going to go to the Emancipation. Nowhere did it say that black people will be free in that Emancipation. pretty much, the 14th Amendment made it clear. It made it absolutely clear that the black codes will be implemented if at any time, and this is still in the Constitution, because, even if they say, they changed it, no, but that's bullshit. They didn't change nothing. They just, rewrote it, and that's all they rewrote it, made the language better or different. But when you look at the Emancipation Proclamation, it even tells you in the pictures that, because it starts talking about equality and human rights or whatever, that civil rights stuff. But you'll see the picture of the devil holding the chain, and the black man is still attached to the black man with the chains, praying to the white Jesus, with the white angel. So even though they changed that up, but if you all Google the Emancipation Proclamation or Google the black codes, and you'll understand this is the reason why you see these Negroes, heads, these eggheads, you know what I'm saying, that no matter how you try to say what, even when it was evident in Baltimore, whenever you say anything about black unity or whatever, they're going to shut you down and start talking that Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, and because they were going through all around the blocks with the white people and whatnot. So just giving y'all a heads up on and the reason why you got a lot of these egghead Negroes that's that vouches for these people with vigor. You understand? So it's like they're not trying to. They don't want to hear the black anything. They want to hear that what you talking about, Martin Luther King. So it's still they're still carrying the torch. These race traitors, Mobutu.
Well, thank you, brother. You were very succinct, and I think your point is well taken here, and it's actually an excellent point because it's real. Every time we start talking black talk, they integrate the discussion with something else, and then we lose our way, brother. So we got to make sure that we don't allow that to happen. Appreciate that call, brother. Straight Black Pride. We'll be seeing you in Baltimore soon.
Black Pride. Yes, sir.
All right. Go to Cincinnati. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to God. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, I'm in my car. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to God. And long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. I bear witness there is no other God but Him.
There's no God but He. Come on and talk to me.
I came in late, but when I came in, I heard you talking about the situation with the police officers and the black children. And I feel like, me personally, I feel like we should. Somebody should have got dude's his name off this badge. And look, brother, they ain't gonna start respecting us if we start killing them and they family. Period. Till you start going over there raising some hell. I ain't talking about recording them and doing all that nonsense. Until you start putting some bullets in their family, they not going to get the message. That's what the European understand. Power and aggression. That's what you're going to have to start doing. Ain't nothing else to it. Period. You just got to do it like a sport. You make it seem like you ain't going to do nothing. You get a badge number, then you go by. I don't know, maybe a week will go by. Next thing you know, his mama did and his kids did. Then he did.
So you saying you don't believe nothing's gonna change until they get a couple of them to take that long walk.
Yeah, you already said. You already said ain't nothing gonna change. We done did everything. What I just said is the only thing we ain't done. We done everything.
Well, man, you talking about that dirt now? You say like brother just say 6 feet of dirt is lonely right now for some devils. Man, that's a heck of a statement. I can't dispute it though. Everybody has a right to their African wisdom and opinion, so I gotta definitely leave the airways open for that, brother. You got anything else for us?
That's it, brother. Straight Black Pride got me putting crackers in the dirt.
Somebody got to put them in the dirt. You heard it. Straight Black Pride. Let me go to 9522. Then I'm going to 1191, 6789, 8111, 349, 702, 5442323574. Let me go 9522. Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, let me go 1191. Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right. Let me go 6789. Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. I'm just listening, brother, and I like to co-sign what the brother from Cincinnati said. Until there's any physical accountability or consequences to them, it's going to continue to happen. We done tried everything else. And, of course, we don't want to announce it before we do it. Just do it.
All right, brother. Appreciate it. That was straight to the point. I think you made your point. Straight black pride.
Straight black pride.
Man, I hear a lot of dirt napping going on here tonight. It's a lot of, you talking skeevy tonight. 8111. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. 3497. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Khalid Abdul Muhammad. This is Nancy calling from Baltimore. How you doing today?
Good, my sister. How you doing?
I'm blessed. I've been reading up a lot on really just some of the history in general. And to me, it seems like black people have been, I think, our biggest own enemy. And the coons, the sellouts that you speak of, do you feel as though they should just, we should just fight them along with the white supremacists, or that we can kind of maybe just sell them and bring them back onto our house on outside, maybe we should be able to help them as well? Because I
think that when we get serious, when we take the time to get organized and get serious, I think what we have to do is prioritize. We got to have maybe 3 different categories. The potential people that could turn around that may not understand what they're doing. Then the ones who are doing what's expedient. That's the second level. They're doing what's expedient so that if they're given a threat, they know what's going to happen, then they might turn around. And then the Mobutu, which is the one that absolutely positively knows that they're working on behalf of the enemy and doing it on purpose, and they're a high-level threat. I think we have to eliminate the threats to our survival. I think we have to really deal and engage in a very definitive manner with those that are race traitors first. And I think that the second 2 groups will pick where they'll go from there, and I think that we can clean up a lot of that problem, because honestly, we can't do nothing really until we remove the willingness of our people to work on behalf of white supremacy.
Right, and that's the biggest thing I've been seeing, because with a lot of the wars and stuff that we've gone through, a lot of our enemies have really looked like us. The white supremacists that are out there, they wouldn't have been able to accomplish a lot of things that they've been able to accomplish if they didn't have somebody in front that looked like us to kind of persuade us. So I just feel like the Uncle Tom is really a bigger threat than really the white people, because even when you look historically with the house Negro and the field Negro, historically, really, they gave more oppression to the slaves than some of the white people, so.
I agree with the spirit of what you're saying. The only adjustment I would say, I wouldn't say that the Uncle Tom or the Mobutu is a worse individual than the whites in the sense that they're more a danger. I'll say it like this. Because they look like us, and because they fight like us, and because they inside, we can't even do nothing about what the white folks are doing until we deal with them. Because if there was no white folks, then we wouldn't have them to deal with, because they do it for the white interest. So they can't even exist without the white folks. But the reality of it, when it's all said and done, is no matter how the semantics you use, you're correct. In my opinion, they got to be first dealt with. There's no way to deal with the whites or anybody else until that problem is resolved.
Okay. Well, definitely well said, and I look forward to coming to my first Black Pride movement gathering on the 21st too. I look forward to meeting you and your wife. So.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to meeting you as well, and we'll keep you in tune. And we can't wait to meet you, sis.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Straight Black Pride. All right. 4232. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to God. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. 4232. 3574. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to God. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Greetings, brother. Greetings. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Marcus Garvey. I want to thank you for having this platform. I agree with you totally on the organizing, that we definitely need to organize. I think some of the things that we need to do is to begin to unplug from the system. I think people who are of a higher consciousness should all pull their children from the school systems, pull all of our children out of the school systems, desegregate, come amongst our own self. In reference to the question that you asked the sister before, in reference to what she thinks the black man, the brother should have done who watched the officer on that child's back, yes. I feel like there should have been action, not talking. I think there should have been an action. We often come and answer questions like that from a place of fear. It's this fear of what might happen. No, we don't want to see our brothers slain on the street. But just like the two brothers prior to the sister who just called in, until there is an action that meets the action in which they're doing upon us, I don't feel there's no change that's going to take place. I'm a woman. I have a daughter 31. I have a daughter 21. I have a son that's 7. I've been homeschooling for 23 years plus. I don't deal inside the system. I've pretty much been exiting this matrix over a 23-year period, and I think that's the first start, that we need to start pulling back out of this system, exiting this matrix, becoming more sovereign in our thought and action. I think the brother did something physically to that officer, because as I'm watching it with my 7-year-old son, and my 7-year-old son in his own mind, without me saying anything, was saying, all of them, they ought to get him. They ought to get him. And that was his fault. He's a warrior, and he's raised in a household that's straight up about straight black pride and being a real young man. I think the brother should have done something some action should have took place, because talking wouldn't have did nothing but the officer telling him to get out the way. I personally, I just feel like there should have been an action. And I know you said when you first started out, we don't need to ask what should be done. I think when you watch a video like that, you have feelings that flow through your blood. I'm a woman, and I feel like all of this videotaping, I see men videotaping other men white men beating on women, and they stand there for 15 minutes videotaping. To me, those are cowards, because put the videotape down and get involved in it. If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. That's the way I feel about it. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's how I feel. I feel like there should be some action, and until we start sending them messages that we're not going to tolerate this, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, we ain't going to get nothing. There is nothing going to happen until we start showing them. Put some fear in them.
And
that's my funny, brother.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you, my sister. Love that spirit. Make sure that you don't make this your last time calling. Tell your son and your daughters we love them too, and we'll definitely see you on the battlefield. All right, I'm Empress Diamond, so you'll know I just became friends with you on Facebook after seeing you and your wife's beautiful wedding pictures. I attended the two of you guys, and hopefully I'm on the West Coast. Hopefully I can get over to the East Coast for some of y'all events that you have, and try and work, connect with you guys to bring you out here to the Bay, because a lot of our people fear. A lot of our people operating from fear. I don't have it. I come from that love of George and Jonathan Jackson spirit. That's how my father was when I came up in New Orleans. This fear we have in us, I think we need to be deprogrammed to get this fear out of our mind, because
this inaction and this marching ain't doing nothing. I'm not with it. I think some action should have took place. I mean, I don't even want to really say what I wish the brother should have did if he had something on him, but I don't think that brother had that kind of spirit. Some action, physical action needed to meet the physical action of that officer. And sometimes we don't lose a couple of soldiers in the battle, and we cannot be doing that.
I'm glad.
That's just my take.
We was about to end. I'm glad you took, because you said, I couldn't say it, but you really said something just now. I'm gonna let you go ahead, sister. Thank you so much. You said something that needed to be said tonight.
Give thanks, brother. All right, peace.
Straight Black Pride. We look forward to seeing you as well soon, and we definitely would love to get our first opportunity to come out to the West Coast. Let me tell you something, brother. That sister just said something that's real. She said, sometimes you lose some soldiers in the battle. And this is what I'm saying, and I'm being very cautious. The reason I'm being so cautious tonight and some I wish it be done is because the way I do things, I'm not going to say what I would have done because I don't know, depending on my situation. Am I healthy enough to jump right there? Am I going off emotion? Do I have something that I can maybe wait for them to pull off and let them know how I feel? I'm kind of a different type of operator, so I ain't going to say exactly, because I don't always do something right the way you think it's going to be done at the moment. I just don't move like that all the time. I will say this, though. When I look at this situation and I say, if I was there, would I have cared if they killed me? No. I wouldn't have made my decision based off would I die trying to help this little girl. My decision would have been made off what can I do that will be the most effective for the situation. If I thought that me jumping out there and physically jumping in a physical fight with them was going to end up in a situation where it made it worse for her and they took me down and then I just made it worse for her, I would have used some other method. What I can say is this, though. I could not have been there. I ain't going to lie. I don't even feel comfortable looking at it now. There's a lot of stuff I'm not comfortable with. But I really don't think I could have slept that night knowing that I stood there and watched this happen. At the very least, I'd be involved with this until the kind of resolution I want was done. Whether it was meeting with the parents and working through this whole situation or meeting with some other people, wouldn't matter. But I'm saying it's no way as a man I can see myself being in a place like that, seeing this happen to a little girl that's innocent. Not like no loudmouth little girl that's spitting in the officer's face and he do something or whatever, even though I still wouldn't like him slamming her, but like where I'm like, she spit in my face, I'd have had a problem too. But like a little girl that was minding her business, not doing nobody, oh man, I can't, it hurts my spirit because that is my daughter. But I'm looking at my little 3-year-old daughter. And I'm going, this was coming to her too. I already know that. So we all got to make a decision of what we're going to do because none of us are exempt from what we're seeing. 5440, praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Greetings.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Khalid Muhammad.
How you doing, sister?
I'm well. Well, there's so much been said. One thing I just really wanted to share this from Elder. He said, High Priest Kwatamani, I don't know if you're familiar with him. Sometimes I share some things on your page. And I just came from there. I spent all winter, January through April 14th, in their sanctuary in the rainforest in Belize. And I see why that brother and those sisters got up out of here. And I really give thanks that I've been blessed to see a few elders that are not so much talking, or as the elder said, he's been out here doing work for over 50 years, and he really has more of a focus on the youth now, the generation next, because a lot of the elder folks that he said are complacent, and the elders, he's very calm. My son said that's the first time he ever met a man that was firm and loving, and he's non-compromising on principle, and he has to focus on the youth. But he says, in terms of what was left by the ancestors, he calls this the Banu cycle. And he says the lesson of this Banu cycle is that children of the sun our excuse was that we didn't know who, what, when, why, where, or how. But we should have learned our lesson by now. And that our lesson is we should be able to understand the energy of what we're dealing with. Like that old African scorpion story. It's not it's a scorpion. And to teach our children, it's not racism. First of all, we don't have the power to be a racist. And that's not who we are. But to call things as we see it is not negative. And I struggle with that. The first time I read that Elder's books, I'll admit, I threw the book down. And I gave it to the library. And I wound up going back to get the book because I was like, I'm not scared of some information. I knew there was something in there. But I have to admit there are many things that are very uncomfortable for us to deal with. The truth is very uncomfortable. And also our contradictions are killing us and being afraid to call them out. But this next generation, they can't withstand our hypocrisy. They're dying. I have never met so many young people on antidepressants. There's one young lady I was working with. I think she was 19. And I said, what's that on your wrist? And we both looked down at her wrist at the same time. And I saw it looked like there were slit marks on her lips, on her wrist. And it's common for young people to be on drugs. And everybody's okay with it. And as I'm a mother, and I observe it. I'm a mother. I'm not apologetic, and I'm grateful. I really get the importance of mother. The father is important, too, because I can't be here without a woman and a man. But I really get the importance. And when somebody asks me to march, my march is my son. And it's not just about my son. It's about he's going to be somebody's father. Hopefully I'm doing everything in my power to correct what we did not get right. I tell my son, your generation has no wiggle room for mistakes. It's 100 banana peels with your name on it. It's 100. If he gets arrested for a bike summons, riding in Prospect Park looking for Nature Center, if he gets arrested, I'm told they don't have to read you your rights anymore. If you don't agree to have your palms printed, they will put you in isolation. If it is Friday night, they put someone that was a bicycle summons in jail with the rest of the criminals. By that time in New York or Texas, the child is already tampered with. If he gets an STD, if he has an unwanted pregnancy, they cannot afford our contradictions anymore. And they can't afford for us not to call it as it is. Like, because we want to be we're so politically correct. We're politically correcting ourselves off of the planet. And it's really uncomfortable for us to have these communications. But I get it. If we don't have these communications, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. It's not about hatred. It's not about racism. It is what it is to call the facts. And these children, they're walking around. I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but the 20-year-olds might as well be in their 40s right about now. They're walking around depressed, angry. I personally observed that their pants are hanging off their butt as they're saying, screw you adults because nobody cares about us. Y'all stuck with all your creature comforts and, as long as you go on all these vacations, all these trinkets and you made it, nobody really cares about the children, the young people, the little babies or the teenagers. I don't know why we think that young people in their 20s, they don't need any more guidance. Thank goodness I had some elders in my 20s that gave me spiritual practices like get a job, sew your clothes up.
And let me do this. I got a lot of people online, so I want to. Yeah,
but I just wanted to say for folks, for somebody that is really elder that's doing something, and to get our children out of this environment, the High Priest Kwatamani in Belize, Central America, I would recommend anybody send their young men, especially young men and women there. Get them out of here to have a whole nother experience, uncompromised, and he has a focus on raising young black men, not that he's doing to do quietly. And their website address is livefoodsunchild.com. Excellent rites of passage. And I post some of this stuff on your page sometime. Community is doing it.
Give me the website one more time, then I got to go to my next call.
Okay, it's livefoodsunchild.com.
Hold on, say it slowly because I'm at live.
livefoodsunchild.com. And on Facebook.
Sunchild. Okay.
.com. And on Facebook, he's put some stuff there just for the youth. It's Cosette, Kofitte, Kwatamani, Kwatamani. His stuff is on point. They're doing it.
Well, thank you, sister. We appreciate it. Please don't be a stranger. We really appreciate
My
that.
son had made me watch your videos. I was like, I'm tired. My son, we were watching for like a couple of weeks without me sleeping, Roots and all your documentaries. He said, Ma, you got to watch this. Something you did exposing the Jews and also on homosexuality. He said, Ma, you have to watch this. So, folks never know who's watching. My son had us watch those documentaries, and I was sleepy. We watched them for several weeks, just going on documentaries.
We got to go to our next call. But thank you, son, for us.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
You.
We definitely see you on this battlefield. Straight black pride. Let me go to 432. You know what? That sister said something that really resonated with me hard. She said, our children cannot withstand our contradictions. That's some old Baba Baruti stuff. I think she done read some Baruti on that one. Woo! 4326, praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Not to mention brother Dr. John Henry Clark, one of my favorite mentors. This is Rudy Sango Theopen. I'm actually first I want to start off by thanking the sisters. I have to give big ups to our sisters because I don't know what we would be without our sisters. I always talk to my girl who's just getting conscious, sort of, and I always tell my sister, my girl, I'm like, look at these sisters. You notice when something happens to the brothers, you see the brothers holding the camera. I had one video I watched, the brother was holding the camera. Oh, we got to record this. And the sister's like, no, we got to do something. And they jumped up on the police officer. It's funny how the sisters, and this is to me going back to the point of feminization of the black male that you tend to mention as well. But our sisters, we really got to give them the credit that they deserve and really focus our attention on appreciating them. Our sisters, these sisters, they don't even care about their own livelihood. And I look at the sisters on the way they react, and I said, this is the type of mentality that the brothers need to have. And at the end of the day, I tell them, my name is Rudy Shango Theopen. The way these sisters think is the way the brothers need to think. They don't even think about themselves. And I always watch videos after videos, and I have to show my girl. I'm like, why is it the sisters are quick to say, hey, don't put your hand on that sister, or they willing to fight the cops. The cops have more respect for the women than the men because they should, because the sisters quick to fight before the black men. And at the end of the day, I think it boils down to something that's common sense. The Destruction of Civilization by Chancellor Williams, this book, to me, I tell black people, put down your Bible. I told a brother in my job, like, put down your Bible, read this book. Read this book. Stop crying when white people beat you up. They hate you. Do you understand this is warfare? When someone do not like you, it's their job to defeat you. Once you get in the right state of mind and stop having this romance about, maybe if I show video, there's too much videos on YouTube. I'm actually tired of seeing videos. Honestly, watching these videos make me want to just go and do something crazy. So, because I'm tired of watching this because I feel that we know what's going on. Watching these videos not helping us. We know what's going on. What we going to do about it? It's like someone smacking you up, and everyone's recording it. Look, they're hitting me. Look what they're doing to me. And look. They don't care. They know this. They don't care. So at the end of the day, we as an individual, we got to make a decision. Me personally, I talk a lot. And black people, we need to stop talking. We need to start taking action. I'm moving to Chicago. They were asking me, why are you moving to Chicago? You ain't afraid of getting killed. I'm like, well, the brothers out there, they need help. They need mentors. They need it. We can't be moving outside of Chicago where the brothers need help and need mentors. That's where we need to move. And I'm not calling for everyone to do that. I feel that everyone need to do what they're capable of doing. Not everyone's gonna fight. Not everyone's me. Not everyone's gonna move to Chicago. They got different circumstances. But at the end of the day, we can support each other. All this notion of, I need to move out the hood and move with the white folks. They don't want you. We got to stop this relationship with them. And this is why I try to perpetuate, and I try not to debate with my brothers because there's so much that I got to fight. When I'm talking to brothers and they trying to convert me to Christianity, I said, how can I worship Kurt Cobain, man? It doesn't make any sense for me to worship Kurt Cobain. You know, even my Islamic brothers, I try to be peaceful and neutral with my Islamic brothers. I'm like, listen, who's the follow? He's Arab. I don't want to deal with the Arabs. I don't want to deal with Hispanics. I'm trying to deal with real black Africans. I don't even want to deal with blacks who don't consider themselves black. If you have, I don't know if I'm black, I'm half this, I'm half this. That's split allegiance. I don't want to deal with a mulatto who will consider himself black. It's split allegiance. Because when it's time to go battle, and I try to tell my girl this, when it's time to go battle them, I don't know, my mother's white, my father's white, and it's split. How we going to go to war? We don't know what we are. We confused as the people.
Well, look,
so
let me do this. We got to go to the next call, but you got to call earlier next time, bro. Because I give you the floor, man. You putting this thing hot. You gonna keep me on here for another hour with that kind of spirit, man. You bringing the fire, man. You make sure you continue to listen and call in, because this is the kind of spirit I like. And the thing you said, I'm gonna let you go right now, but you got to call back in, brother, because you bringing the kind of spirit that we really need on War on the Horizon. So stay strong, brother. Stay in tune with us. Check us out on Facebook, and we'll definitely see you on the battlefield, brother. And good luck when you move to Chicago.
Big up to all the black queens out there. They're holding us down.
Yo, the brother made a point, and I got to say this. Yeah, you know what? And I've been remiss on this, so I apologize. I got to give a big up to the sisters. He's right, man. Sisters are more likely to jump in to try to help a brother than brothers are when, you know what? I can't say that. Because in Baltimore, when the white boy come down and call the sister the N-word or whatever, the brothers whooped this white boy, and then all them whiteys that was talking trash, the brothers in Baltimore started going up and busting them lips and mouths. So I say it like this. Far too often, brothers stand around and watch sisters get brutalized and mistreated. And I think they do that. One, they're not taught about their racial responsibility. Two, they've been taught this Martin Luther King, we shall overcome, love everybody nonsense, which cripples a man from his natural instincts. Three, they don't have strong black fathers with a consciousness in the house to raise them and tell them what to do. And I'm going to say this because it's very important, too, in relation to what we're saying. And I'm not blaming the women on this. The men got to take the hits for not being men. But I will say this, even with my little son, sometimes I'm doing something and my wife gets, oh, don't do that in front of me. And I get very, very angry with her. Because, see, women want to coddle the boys now, and then when they grow up to stand around and watch little black girls get beat up, then you want to criticize. You can't have it both ways. You can't live in contradiction. Either you get strong and you be able to appreciate a man making a boy into a man, or shut the hell up. You ask for faggots and you're getting them. You're manufacturing faggots. And if you get in the way of men producing men, then you're going to get nothing but faggots and you're going to get nothing but pain, and you deserve it because you participated in it. I know that's hard, sisters. But you ain't no damn good of a woman that raises a son to be a daughter. He wants to play football, but you don't want him to because he might hurt his leg. Why don't you just bend him over and play with yourself? Because that's all you're doing. Y'all do it too much, and I got to talk to y'all straight. I beat up on the brothers all the time. Got to talk to y'all straight. A lot of y'all sisters are murdering our sons. You got to stop doing it. Because on the flip side, then we look at these young boys standing around watching these sisters get their brains beat out, and we go on, what the heck is going on? Then the little brother goes out there, he's throwing everything he can throw at the police, and his mother's knocking him upside the head, calling him everything she can think of, and trying to beat the manhood out of him. And he got enough respect with his mother beating and wailing on him like a man. He never hit his mother back, never cursed her. I ain't even gonna lie, my mother whooped me and beat me bad, but she ain't never do nothing like that. I don't know who I could. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't hit my mother because I never have. I don't have it in me, but my mother wouldn't do that. I can't even use it. My mother would not do me like that. Like, I don't understand that kind of aggression from a mother on a son like that. It was way over the top. Like, that ain't the household. I didn't grow up around that kind of stuff. I ain't never really dealt with that kind of thing. But I'm not beating up on the sister because she didn't know. She was trying to protect him. But that ain't the way to protect the child. And I ain't saying I don't understand the government. I'm saying we got to start building men and then letting them be men when the time comes. He's out there with hundreds of other brothers fighting like men, and the men won't do it, and then the women go to stop him. So 1 minute, we talking about where the brothers at. I'd like to see the brothers fight. But then you got to look and see, are you raising the kind of son that would have jumped in and fought? If you're not raising the kind of son that would have jumped in and fought, then you shouldn't want to see that because you're a hypocrite. And my sister said we got to stop living in contradiction. 0900-725-98231-5352-5983-1801-0461-7129. An anonymous call, I'm coming to you right now. 0900, praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Just listening.
All right, thank you for tuning in. All right, let me go to 7259. Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, let me go to 8231. Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. How you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Enjoying the program.
Fantastic.
I just want to make a quick comment. I know you earlier talked about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You also got to add James Baldwin and all the rest of those integrationists into the equation because they did a lot of damage. Because James Baldwin, he was a homosexual. So it's what's his name, Barry Rustin.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to let you go, brother, because you just brought up something that I think is absolutely necessary for me to talk about in the course of this program. And we haven't talked about it, but you just hit a nail on the head. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to let you go here because I got a lot of calls, but I'm going to address just what you just said because I think it's critical, brother. Thank you for that, brother.
Thank you.
Just brought up a good point. And I think I can't even stop, right? I got to get right into this, what he just said. This is real serious. You know, when I watched this video that somebody put, it's up on YouTube, of James Baldwin basically talking about Malcolm X. If you listen to this faggot and his hatred for nationalism, and it wasn't the nationalism aspect that he hated the manhood. When I listen to James Baldwin, it's the most sadistic, it's really deep because he's doing the same thing Martin Luther King is doing and talking about this integrationism, except I'll give Martin Luther King a little more credit. Martin Luther King was out on the forefront pushing a ridiculous position, but he still was out there in harm's way. This fag was trying to intentionally undermine everything that strong black manhood was about. And if you listen to him, what makes it so evil is that that's one thing about this homosexual agenda. It is not just intended to promote homosexuality. It's intended to destroy the very manhood needed to fight that situation that we talked about down there in Texas. If you don't have strong black aggressive manhood, if you're fighting organized strong manhood, which Brother Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam was a prime representative of at that moment in time, the Black Panther Party, when you have a punk, a fag that's fighting against that, what you have is the prototype for the Negro who might not know that they're participating in homosexuality. In other words, they're not saying it's cool for two men to sleep together, but they're saying don't resist white tyranny. They're saying there's a better way to fight back than fighting back. What we have to understand is that in many ways, the political form of homosexuality is integration. And this brother's right. I'm using Martin Luther King because he is the god of the integrationists. But Baird Rustin was a horrible race traitor, perhaps the worst race traitor, Mobutu, of the 20th century in America. He was an ally of Dr. Martin Luther King and a mentor. I'm not going to say Jagna, I'm going to say mentor. That's what he was. And those of you who know what that means, know what that means. So we have, when we look at this whole integration mentality, and I've been saying this to people for a long time, when you see somebody interracially date, it's a link with that in homosexuality. There's something that happens with the black man when he loses his real responsible manhood, his manhood, which connects him to his racial responsibility. Where there's a relationship between the fact he'll lay down with a white demon ironing board backside devil, and the fact of a guy that'll go out here and lay with another dude. Even if he don't physically do it, intellectually, racial treason is a submission to white authority. Men are not supposed to submit like that. So miscegenation, Chancellor Williams talked about it, integration, the key element of destruction of black civilization. Whenever you see homosexuals, or whenever you see integrationists, homosexuality and weakness and cowardness is always in the same environment. Because an integrationist by nature may not be a physical homosexual, but they're effeminized in the fact that they want to be one with their enemy that they should be trying to fight. And they would prefer to be with their enemy than to fight their enemy. That is an unnatural reality for men. Men don't think that way. When they see their enemies, they want to destroy them. Lions don't think about cohabiting with hyena females. It's not in their nature. Even if he don't have a pride, when he sees a hyena female, he just wants to kill it. Because there's no personality type that says that you sleep with your enemy in that regard, in that way. So I want people to understand what I'm saying. It's a very dangerous trick bag that we running ourselves in. And this brother's right. It ain't just Martin Luther King. It's Barrett Rustin. It's Gay Philip Randolph. It's W.E.B. Du Bois. It's all of these Negroes that want to be close to white folks, Henry Jewish Gates, Cornel West, all of them having a feminized Tavis Smiley, bend over and take it mentality, love white folks, let's get and be part with them. And that results in boys being born who get this from their intellectual diagrams, who don't know what to do when they see their women and children under attack. That comes from their education. Women move on their emotions, so that's why the sisters are running out there and fighting, because emotionally they know that this is wrong. The men are trying to think reasonably. If they raised in a house with men, their natural instinct, my sister's under attack, I'm going to fight. That's my job, I'm a man. If they're not raised in a home or an environment with strong men that they know part of their responsibility as men is to protect women and children, they have no idea that they're even supposed to do it. I'm not justifying it. I'm saying that's how dangerous integration is. It takes away the natural instinct of black men to even be men and to know what being a man's responsibilities are. 53-52, praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Special shout out to Brother Louis Ali Pop for boxing up the beast.
Yes, sir.
I had a quick question for you. As far as Martin Luther King, who do you think is the biggest race traitor, or whose legacy is not as truthful as it should be in terms of black people between Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela?
Bro, I mean, we need to do a whole show on that, brother. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. You asked me a question on the spot, and I mean, I'm usually good with words, brother. I would have to literally sit down and go blow by blow. I don't know. Bro, that's one of the best questions. That's one of the best questions I've ever heard. I don't know.
Because he's basically like the African. I mean, I don't know, because he was locked up. Like, you do 30, how many years, and you come out and you loving these people. I mean, I don't know how he didn't just go and just wild out after that.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give it to Martin Luther King. This is why I'm gonna say why. I have to leave room for the possibility that in those 27 years he was in that prison, they did something to his mind. And I ain't on no Starbucks or no space age stuff, but I'm saying 27 years is long enough that you can test on a person and experiment on them, and I just don't know for sure if they didn't do something to mess with that man. Martin Luther King ain't had no 27 years in prison to be telling us to stop fighting against lynching and stuff like that, and some of the stuff he was doing. So I can't give him the same pass. But in terms of blow for blow, the work that they did to hurt the race, brother, I don't know. We would have to have a program on that and have a discussion. And I'd be going both ways as people talking. I don't know, but that's an excellent question, bro. Dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you finish on that and give us your opinion, because honestly I don't have an opinion on that, bro. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm leaning toward. I got to lean towards
I gotta lean towards Mandela because I mean he had a whole country he had the hopes of like a whole continent on what he could have done that could have kind of put the power behind it to make other things happen. Martin Luther King he's in the enemy's territory. That guy's in his own backyard. Where I mean, if he would have rose up, I'm sure they would have got help from other African countries or governments or whoever, or people just seeing that as the fight. So
if he would have combined with Winnie Mandela when he got out and built a unification of other, you know what, bro? I hear what you're saying. 'Cause when I watched, there's a video, if y'all can watch it, when he came out of prison. He did it with Ted Koppel. Right then and there, he was conceding everything to the whites. Had a cracker come on there talking about Nelson, we're not going to let you take away our diamond fields. We work too hard, blah, blah, blah. And Nelson Mandela just sit there and lied to the people and said we're going to nationalize the diamonds and the minerals field. It didn't do none of that. And it's like, bruh. I mean, bro, I'll go. If two people make an argument, it probably depends on who the best debater is. Cause that's one of the best questions I heard. Now, who is this? Is this Brother Tad?
Nah. This the phone man.
The phone man.
The African phone man.
The African phone man. Okay.
This Mama do, man.
Oh, what's up, Mama? Okay, all right, what's up? I knew the voice, but I was like, sound like Brother Tad. Nah, yeah, hey, man, I really appreciate that question, man. I think it was an excellent question, man. And hopefully, if you can make it around again to some of the Straight Black Pride meetings, let me know, man, because we done missed your presence there, brother.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent question, man. Appreciate that. And you got anything else you want to say before we go?
Nah, man, just take care.
All right, Straight Black Pride. Man, that brother came in here with a quagmire. He put me in a quagmire, put me in a mix. Which one is worse, Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela? I'm like, yeah. You know what? Which brings the question. You know what? We have a responsibility. We allowed Martin Luther King to be presented as a hero to our race and given misinformation and the wrong information and guidance to our children and the generation. We've done that for 68, 78, 88, 98, 2008. For almost 50 years now. We got to do something about this Nelson Mandela. I'm glad his brother said that. We cannot let generations of African people make a race traitor. I don't care what he did before he went to jail. Yeah, he did something like that. At the end of the day, he was a race traitor. He went to death as a race traitor, and he turned over the continent to these crackers, and he took all of our momentum away and left us to really die. He's got to go down in history as a race traitor because he's a Mobutu. And all this nice guy stuff, we got to stop with it. Doesn't mean that we can't say about some of the great things he did before he got locked up. That's fine. But we can't get no love to that dude. And we can't allow another 50 years of that. We got to get tougher on that. So we're going to get tough on Nelson Mandela. 5983, 1801, 0461, 1111, 1022, 4858, 4787, 1191, 3574. Let me go down the line quickly, please. Question or comment. 5983. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. What's going on, Gene?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, everything going okay, man. I'm enjoying the show and don't really have a lot of comments because I hadn't studied the video. I watched it a little bit and didn't study it, man, and I think the only issue I had with it, man, is I think the counter social engineering of the children. We got to do a better job at that, man, because they were caught like a deer in the headlights when the cops came. Now, I didn't get to see the beginning. What I actually saw was when the cop did his little Paul Blart impression, spun around on the ground. I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's where, and I hate when I catch just the middle of it because I don't see what's going on. But it seemed like the black man that was trying to talk to the little girl was he was actually trying to get her to calm down and letting her know that he was right there with her. This cop ain't gonna do nothing out of line. Just calm down so it won't get worse than what it already was. Did that make sense?
It does, but this is the only thing. Those young people didn't do nothing. The way the thing went down, they was at a party. The crackers called and said there's too many black people in the neighborhood. Then the white chicks started calling the black children, you black this and black that. And then the little sister said, The little sister was she's 18, I think, or 14. And she said, that's not right. That's racist, what you're saying. Then the grown white chick came and smacked her in the face. And then, all she told her was, that's racist. You shouldn't say that. Then she smacked her, and then another sister jumped in to help the little 14-year-old and grabbed her hand. They was going back and forth, and they broke it up. So the children were leaving. And then the police just came around there and just started saying, we're the black people, and just started assaulting them. So the little girl, it wasn't like she was doing something that would have been out of the way. She didn't spit on the police. She was just completely like walking away saying this is wrong, and then the police just came and slammed her on the ground. I mean, as a black man, I can't be comfortable with. I understand he was trying to calm her down, but nah, man. If I see that she's innocent, I'm there watching it, and he just comes and he's running around. Nah, man. I don't feel comfortable with that, man. That dude was out of line.
Right. You know what, Gina? I hope the coonery in my comment, man, ain't too blatant. But that man was a coon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was a hard-working dude, and in his mind, what he's thinking is, if it was his daughter, it would be a different story because he wouldn't have had his daughter. His daughter wouldn't have been out there. He raised his daughter different than being out there screaming and yelling, and whatever. So I'm kind of torn, man, because like I say, the kids were baited into based on what you just told me, they were baited into a scuffle. And it's not a right way to deal with it. Like McKinney, Texas ain't about that. As you can see, the cracker held back. He was holding back, and he wanted to do something. You know what I'm saying?
No, he pulled his gun out. He pulled his gun out.
Oh yeah, he pulled his gun out.
If the young would not have ran, and what happened is this is why he didn't shoot him. When he pulled the gun out, the other cops ran up, and the little brother was smart. He ran out the way, so it wouldn't have been a clean shot on him. He kind of zigzagged.
Yes,
he
sir.
He shot that youngin' if that youngin' would have sat right there. So
he damn sure would have. He damn sure would have. So that's the only thing about it. It looked like chaos. It looked like chaos, man, and it's hard to say what those kids or that cop could have did. They were kind of like a deer. Kids didn't want to back down, but they knew that these cops are shooting kids nowadays, so it was kind of a cross, man. They didn't want to be the first one to leave or the first one to sit down. You know what I mean? So it just looked like chaos to me, bro. And I'm sorry I had to bring the show down, man. I'm just trying to put a little input into it, and you know.
Now I understand you close to the environment, so you feel that way. But I'm gonna keep it real, bro. And I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna be real. Without being there, I'm gonna make an unfair statement because I wasn't there. But I'm gonna be unfair, so I'm admitting I might be. In this one, it might be immature because I wasn't there. But I'm gonna just keep it real.
Right.
Even if he wasn't gonna physically jump in, knowing what that would cost, I didn't like how he looked. He just looked too weak in that scene. You don't. Even if I'm there, no, I'm saying even if it's like that, I'm like, whoa, it's a little girl. Chill out, dude. It's like, nah, hold up. It's a child. Now, wait, we can take care of this. And I might tell the little girl, I might grab her and say, nah, come on over here. Look, just chill out. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to just be totally comfortable with a little girl getting slammed on the ground. It wasn't like she was spitting and throwing punches and picking up stuff and throwing them at the police. She wasn't doing none of that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and you know, Gene, I mean, I'm kind of, you know, that man is kind of what's scaring me about this generation. You know what I mean? Because nobody is when the cops slammed the girl. I believe she was screaming, somebody calling my mama or something. You know, she was pretty much doing a lot. It was a lot of chaos going on, and what I was saying was, see, if the guy would have screamed at the police officer, he wouldn't have done nothing but overtalked him and probably made a scene about. He probably sprayed the dude with something or something. You know what I mean?
Nah,
it just seemed like the guy was. He was trying to calm the girl. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, is it okay to? Our kids, man, we have to kind of like know when you in the bed of the beast like that, ain't nobody gonna fight for you. It's not a situation where people gonna fight for you and it's gonna get out of hand. You know what I'm saying? It might be a better deal to make this thing go smooth as possible.
I'll be honest with you. I can't. I'm gonna tell you like this: if you in a situation, particularly as a man, and it's coming at you, and you do that, I can take that because I've been in a situation where if I don't just go ahead and comply with these police officers, it's gonna go somewhere that I don't want it to go. I've been there, so I know exactly what it's like. But it's different if I'm standing there and I see a sister that they about to do that to, that's a different ballgame. It's like you can't be a man and also stand there and watch your women be attacked. It don't matter what happens to you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be smart. I'm not saying don't be wise, but I'm saying that little girl, well, hold on, let me just say this. That little girl was not, if she was out there going, you mother effer this, you fat.
But that's see what I'm saying though. That's how it looks to the whites that's watching the video.
He wasn't white.
So they don't
I don't care what the crack. Look. Every black person look like they committed a crime to a cracker. I don't care what it looks like.
They do, man.
Right, but I'm saying if I'm a black man on the scene and they doing that to the little sister, and I'm there, so I know that she ain't do nothing because I'm watching it unfold. Nah, I can't be a man at the same time, and then I'm sitting there letting him put his knee on the. Nah, man, nah. You gotta at least say, yo, this. Nah, I mean, you gotta do something. You gotta. Nah, I can't, brother. I can't buy it.
I totally agree with you, Junior. I totally agree with you, man. I just say it kind of looked like.
Do you have a daughter? Do you have a daughter?
Yes, sir. And when you take her to the doctor, and the doctor pulls out the needle, and you want to talk her through it, you know what I mean? Like, hey, man, so you give her that. It's kind of like y'all talking. You talking to her.
How old is your daughter?
My daughter she's 12.
Okay, if that was your daughter, and you know your daughter.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And you saw that video with them slam her on the ground like that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
her
sir.
saying, I want to talk to my daddy. I'm gonna tell my daddy. How you gonna feel when you?
Yes, sir. Oh, I'd have been livid. I would have been livid. You understand what I'm saying? But I also would have told her, you gotta kind of like play your position in a situation like that too. You seen the dude was out of control, so. You know, I talk to her about that all the time.
Look, you can't put the responsibility on children to deal with an out of control pig. Wait a minute. When the adult on the scene could deal with them. No, wait a minute. That ain't okay. You asking for the impossible now. How is a child supposed to fight a wild out murderous cracker, and we men and we ain't gonna fight him? That I can't buy nothing now.
Well, my point is not for her to try to fight him. The point is to get out of the way of chaos. The point is when you see this situation as chaos and you see this guy is unpredictable, don't be the one to get in harm's way.
Wait a minute. The children was leaving. Okay, look, I'm watching the children leave. It wasn't like she was walking towards him. Then maybe you can have some kind of time, bro. Come on, brother.
Okay, look, I'm with you. I'm a fighter just like you. You know what I'm saying? But see, I like to shoot and beat the case. You know what I'm saying?
Now let me ask you a question. If that was your 12-year-old daughter, and that guy on the scene was me, and you know who I am, and you saw that video, and I responded on the scene like that brother did, would you have been comfortable with me doing that?
Jay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot what the guy did. I'm trying to recollect what he did, but I'm saying since he didn't leave her side, I'm kind of thinking that he was trying to comfort her and not making a situation. I might be wrong though. Like I said, I didn't study the video, man. I'm trying to remember it from just my standpoint. But I mean, I felt uncomfortable when the cop was telling them to leave and the girl was standing on her ground screaming. I kind of felt this finna go bad, man. It's finna go bad. And so when I seen it happen, I'm not taking the cop side. I'm not taking the pig side at all, man. You know what I'm saying? But I just kind of feel like I wish the young lady.
You sound kind of like you are.
Okay, you know what? That's why I say I'm gonna apologize for the coonery. You know what I'm saying? But I just wish she would have. I wish that she would have went a different direction and not engaged officer. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'm gonna be honest. Let me tell you what you sound like to me.
Yeah,
I gotta be honest, bro. You know, you're my brother. I love you.
Please do, man. Please
you basically sound like you saying this is equivalent to a dude about to rape a dude, and you saying go ahead and pull your pants down so that you don't make him beat you up to get it. I mean, if these children, I'm saying, wait a minute. I'm saying the children didn't commit a crime, which means
that's what I'm saying, man. In McKinney, Texas,
let me just say this.
This situation is not a common occurrence.
I'm gonna let you get in here, but wait a minute. I gotta say this.
Oh yeah.
The children didn't commit no crime. It ain't even no crime they accused them. Wait a minute.
Right.
They were attacked by a racist cracker who called them
Yes,
out of
sir.
their name. Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
They didn't even get nasty with her. The sister said, what you're saying is racist and you shouldn't say that. And the crackers started smacking the sister. At that point, the black people had the right to stomp the life out of that cracker in self-defense.
Oh, we'd earn out. Yeah, we'd earn out.
Is, somehow you're turning this around, and now you wish the child wouldn't have done something, brother. If imagine a child listening to this to hear men talk. That ain't good, bro. Because you're basically telling them that that you blaming the children. A child would sound like, brother.
Okay, go ahead. See, this is the way I'm internalizing. I'm telling the kids not to be so emotional when a situation like this occurs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and like I say, man, Gene, I'm a fighter, man. But in 2015, I've seen so many incidents on where cops are shooting kids. I just don't think that. I think if she would have went her.
You can't say you're a fighter. You can't say you're a fighter and see black people. Okay, this is not one of those situations where.
I know when to hold, when to fold.
No, I'm saying it's two different things. You can't say you're a fighter. And now, if it was a situation with our children out there wilding out, I can hear what you're saying because sometimes they embarrass me so bad you can't really help them. This was not that situation. This was they're doing what children should do: go to pool parties and be responsible and have fun. They weren't being loud. They weren't being disrespectful. They didn't steal nothing. And the only fight they had was when a racist cracker came to them and was And look, the cracker hit the sister, and another sister jumped in to protect her. So the black children did everything right. I'm going to be honest, bro. Tonight I asked the question, where are the black men? And you answered it. We ain't nowhere. Because it's no way that you should be able to find and manufacture a way to make the children responsible for this, bro. I'm not feeling you at all tonight, bro. I'm embarrassed what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. You know what, man, and I agree with. Like I said, I didn't study the tape, irritated, but from what it looked like, I was just saying that and you got every right to be, man. You know, I just felt like the cop wasn't right. I ain't defending the cop. I'm saying I think she could have avoided her being the one that got singled out. If you hear what I'm saying, I think she could have avoided herself from getting singled out.
I'm gonna do this, bro, and I'm doing this with love and respect, man. I'm gonna let this call.
Hey, man, by all means, man.
Yeah, all right. And look, don't hesitate to call back. You know, we definitely appreciate my brother, but I gotta talk real talk, brother. That's why our people in this condition. We can't say we fighters, and then that's an effeminized position. See, this is the thing. I'm not saying that that brother should afford but I'm saying that's what women do. Women do it like this. A woman gets raped. Because she don't have the physical prowess to go back and take a knife and stab this bam or pop him with a bullet, she says, well, maybe it was my fault because I wore my skirt too low, and maybe I led him on, when in fact, this bama just came and dragged you off the street and raped you. You had a long shirt and he's just a rapist. And if none of those things are true, it's like, it's an effeminized position, like, my responsibility as a man to protect our children. Since I'm not going to do nothing, let me make the children responsible for what happened. That way, I don't have the responsibility to do nothing as a man. And that's why nobody takes us seriously. That's why our women don't listen to nothing we have to say. That's why they don't have no respect for us. That's why we can't get them to agree with nothing. That's why they always disagreeable. And they shouldn't even want to help us. How can they want to help us? And we see this happen to our children, and then we start blaming the children for this. Here's one case where we know the children wasn't at fault. We can look at it. I mean, we got the video. Even with the video, instead of being men and saying, okay, it's our responsibility to do something, we not men. It's like, no, it was the children's fault. Really? You watching this video? Yeah, the guy was crazy, so she should have known. What the hell can you do with somebody that's crazy? Okay, so you know they're crazy. What does that do? That doesn't do anything. Unless you shoot a crazy. Only thing I know you can do is crazy bama, shoot that bama. If you don't shoot them, what else can you do? And the children, they weren't armed, so you can't say they shot him without probable cause. They didn't shoot him. He's a crazy bama. The bama is crazy. You're right. So you really can't blame the children. This cracker was crazy. And he's not no crazier than any other cracker, but I'm saying he was a loose cannon cracker, ready to, I want to kill a black person. And they children, they won't shoot back. What we should be saying is we need to start making sure that there's always some armed person with our children in any environment, so that if this kind of thing happens and they're under police terrorism or any other type of terrorism, we have some way to defend their lives. So we need to start having men, but you ain't talking that talk. You ain't talking that talk because you in Dallas or you in that area. And if you talk like that, then you will be responsible for getting the men together in your community and saying, hey, we got to make sure this don't happen again. Or, hey, let's go take a little trip tonight. Or something. You be responsible for doing it. You don't want to do nothing. That ain't manhood. And we got to get better than that. 1801, praise Nat Turner, glory to God, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, let me go to 0461. Praise Nat Turner, glory to God, be long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Praise. Hello?
Praise Nat Turner.
Hotep, brother. Praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, and all praises due to the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Yes, sir, my brother.
How you doing, brother?
Fantastic.
I'm good, and yourself?
Fantastic.
I got a few comments to say. One of them was when you was talking about the officer, or should I say the terrorist. He was a terrorist in that neighborhood to our children that day, and they said he was he had a military background. So what we need to see is what kind of evaluation are they doing, and really it doesn't make they don't need to do it for us because they're gonna put who they want in the neighborhoods to patrol and try to terrorize us, but. I mean, this man, I don't know if he served in the war or whatever. He might have had some type of post-traumatic war syndrome. He could have had some mental issues. You know what I'm saying? These were children that he was dealing with. And the blatant disrespect, the use of language, the way he was handling our children, it was out of line. It wasn't called. The thing that bothered me was that it was one black man that I saw in the video, but we were the other black people in the neighborhood, all those black children. I mean, in this day and time, we got to be cautious and careful with what we do with our children. We need to. I could appreciate your program, Straight Black Pride. We have to interact with our children. It should have been an event that was chaperoned by adults. It should have been adults to step in and speak for the children. It should have been adults talking to the police. The children should have been behind us. We should have been in front dealing with the police. And I didn't see that. And the one individual that was there, I mean, he didn't do that. I mean, the last brother that was on, you trying to look for a safe haven or a way to get out. But like you said, you can't acquiesce. We can't put ourselves in a position where we acquiesce, and we just continue to put ourselves to the abuse of this blatant disrespect and behavior. I mean, that couldn't have been my son. That couldn't have been my daughter that happened to, man. With the odds, even with the odds against you, brother, with the odds against you, and if your children live or die that day, man, you got to show your children. You know what? I put my life on the line for you.
That's manhood.
I don't understand.
That's manhood talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't understand the mentality of our people, man. That we could get in a boxing ring for money. We could. You talked about it. You talked about another video where the sister was when young brother was out there marching. His mom came and grabbed him. But it's people with that mentality that are sending their same sons and daughters off to war to fight and kill for injustice. You know what I'm saying? And your children, your own children, man, they sit in here at the hands of these beasts, and we can't step in. We can't. We got to be able to show them through our actions. We can't talk no longer. We got to be able to show them through our actions what it is to be a real man and a woman. So, brothers that's out there, you're going to take the stance. You got to be able to sit down and talk to your queen. If this happens to our children, this is what's going to happen. You know, something's going to happen. This is reality. This is what's going to happen. We need to prepare ourselves for this. The best thing, there's so many things that was wrong with that situation. I wouldn't have been at no white folks' pool, man. I wouldn't have been in their neighborhood at no pool. We got our own pools. Have your own pool party. How could the white boy be there? The white boy said that those were some of his friends. Listen, man, when we was growing up in the neighborhood and something happened, yo, what we gonna do? We gonna run or we gonna fight? But we gonna do it together. How you on the other end shooting the video and you say you my friends? Because you could do that. See, that's the white privilege. You could do that.
And look, to your point,
because
if the white boy wasn't the one, if it was a black person taking that video, probably would have got his head banged in.
No doubt. No doubt. And you could see that the person with the video was right up on the scene. They was right up on it. So the thing is, this is the thing. You're in a neighborhood with white people. A white boy comes out with a video. The police don't know if he's your friend or not, because the police is thinking from a supremacist mentality that you shouldn't be hanging with these people anyway. You know. So maybe you're just one of the neighbors in the neighborhood filming this thing, and maybe you're filming this for my safety.
Exactly.
You know, the white boy, the police was out of control, man. He was off the chain.
I'll be honest. If the cracker wasn't even filming it, that thing would have probably been a whole different. Even with the cracker, and I think you're right. I think he was thinking, okay, the cracker's on my side. He's white, but if that cracker wasn't there filming it, man, it ain't no telling what this Peckerwood would have done.
It would have been real nasty. It would have been real nasty. The young brother that ran, like you said, if he didn't run, he would have died. He would have died. To run. And that's the only smart thing to do. If you pull a gun out on me, you think I'm gonna stay there and let you shoot me?
And I'll be honest.
I'm in defense mode now. I got to run. I got to do something to preserve my life.
Yep, and he helped the little girl too, because he walked up.
Right.
He leaned in. He's about to give him that uppercut, and when the white boy jumped up, that gave him off of the little girl. So by the time he got back there, he had lost a little of the energy with that. So because he was really on her hard, and the little brother, he helped with that.
That's right.
And if he'd have hit him, all them other youngins was about to jump in it too, because they was all ready to do it, but it just took that one, and he was that one. That white boy put that gun out. He was gonna pop him, man. He was gonna kill that guy. Well, I'm with you, brother. Thank you for calling in and cleaning up that last call. We needed some man that talks. We got people that's mad now. They mad at me like I set that up. I ain't set that up. I ain't doing this for ratings, man. It just sometimes it goes like that, you know.
That's right, brother. Keep doing your work. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, my brother. Straight black pride.
Okay.
All right. Anonymous call. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, he just tuned in. All right, let me go 7124. Praise Nat Turner. Glory to Garvey. Long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, 1387, praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, last call, 4399, praise Nat Turner, glory to Garvey, long live the spirit of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. All right, people just tuning in. Well, brothers and sisters, I think this has been an extremely good program. I learned a lot. I really a little bit. I'm a little bit shaken. I'm a little bit shaken by the statements that the brother made, kind of defending the police and kind of blaming the little girl for the act. Yo, that ain't manhood, brother and sister. And I'm not beating up on my brother because I can feel the spirit. I don't think he's a bad brother. I mean, I think I recognize the voice. And he's a good brother. He's a good brother. But this is what this whole Martin Luther King thing I'm talking about. We got to get off this stuff. See, when you read about cowards, and Martin Luther King was not a coward, but I can't say he's a coward because he run up in front of things. So I'm not calling him a coward, but I'm saying there are a lot of them that are cowards. But when we learn about cowards, race traitors, Mobutus, integrationists, and they become heroes, without knowing it, you emulate your heroes. My heroes are Nat Turner, Marcus Garvey, Abibifahodie. Those are my heroes. I'm not as strong as those people. I'm not the fighter those people are. But since I read about them, John Jacques Dessalines, I embody them in the sense that's what I think. This was in my head. So it's not that I'm necessarily naturally the bravest person on the planet. But I look at the circumstances they was facing and what they done, Harriet Tubman, I tell people all the time, I might could have went with Brother Nat, because if he talk you into it one time, it's a hit or miss. We're going to go. We're going to body these devils. If we win, we win. We lose, I'm out of here. Her thing, though, she like, I'm going down there to free some black people. Then I'm coming back to free some more. Then I'm coming back again. I'm like, hold up, man. How many times we going to be running down here with these crackers, man? It's like, there's a lot of chance. I ain't got that kind of, I can go one time for everything, but back and forth. Back and forth. I mean, to me, that's like the kind of courage that's unthinkable. But when you study these people and their braveness, it embodies you with something. We got to start talking about these people religiously and stop giving room to conversations about folks that didn't represent what we need to do today. They gave us the wrong, Martin Luther King, W.E.B. Du Bois, they gave us the wrong instructions. Why do we continue? I'm even talking about so-called, well, not so-called, real Pan-Africans, real African nationalists, real Haitianists. We always got a feeling of a need of a Christian, we are the world, loved up kind of mentality where we got to give somebody some credit. Hell, we're giving anything. You earn your credit on this place. We Haitianists. We don't even, you'll never hear me mention Toussaint Louverture. He fought harder than any of these brothers that we talking about. But he loved his white folks. And ultimately, he turned against our people. You don't hear me mention his name. Nothing positive. I don't dog him a lot, but you don't hear me mention his name. I talk about Boukman. Talk about Chinook Bullet. I talk about the Dessalines, the merciless, killers. Sister Fatima, those that went one direction, and that was towards freedom. And they might have made turns on their way to get there to try to be more effective, but they never went backwards. Those are the folks we got to embody our people with. Otherwise, we become complicit in the genocide of our people by giving our people race traitors as heroes. And when our people believe in race traitors as heroes, they will emulate them. And then we'll sit on a conversation with children being assaulted and brutalized and find a way to make the children at blame for it. And granted, I wasn't there. But from everything I've seen, I don't see how anybody can see that situation as anything other than what I'm saying. And if something comes out and I'm wrong, I will stand corrected. I'll apologize to the brother and say I was wrong. But from everything I saw, which is on video, I don't see no kind of possibility of a justification for anything I saw out there, which means no justification for blaming our children, because then we're telling them that we're a bunch of fags. We're a bunch of suckers. And it don't matter what they do to you, we're going to find an excuse why it was your fault. You raped yourself, little girl. Hell, the white boy might have went ahead and raped her. And we say, well, you see she had on a bathing suit and public. Okay, maybe we don't want our daughters walking around in bathing suits. Okay, fine. But in that situation, it's 50 of them out there. So she didn't ask for nothing. We got to start being men and saying, look, whites are at war with us. They're killing us. We have to organize, plan, and give them a clear, definitive understanding that our families mean more to us than they do. And with that said, brothers and sisters, I'm going to play this song as a tribute to all the brothers and sisters who fought directly against the beast. No turning this way and turning that way. But we don't remember their names. We don't call their names because we're so busy kowtowing to the God of the integrationists and all these race traders that we forget those that really fought for us. They go nameless and faceless, and their memory is forgotten, and we turn into a bunch of suckers and chumps because we don't teach about what the fight was like yesterday so that we can fight like that again today. With that said, brothers and sisters, I know we offended some people. I lost some people on board tonight. But that's okay because, hey, I didn't come here to be your friend. We came here to save you. We love you, and we'll see you on the battlefield. War on the horizon. You gotta love it. Come on right here and get on board with us this liberation track.
UFG. Check. Shout out to Lone Star VG. United Front, I want to thank y'all, man. University Ave, all the support, all the love through the years. End of the road. It's the moment's revenge. All my people. Last stop on this train. May your spirit live on forever. Train to liberation. Back to the O. Let's go. Queen Johnny Green. Jay Black. Irritated Genie. What up, Wild? Yeah. Glorious Asiatic. I love y'all. Let's go. God Truth. Yeah. All right, man, for real. Let's go. Yeah, I got so many things to say, but little time to say it. My grandmama told me that your life is what you make it. My ancestors told me human life is what is sacred. And love is something real, but not impossible to fake it. Most brothers base their life on trying to get a sister naked. Gain material possessions, manhood measured by their paper. Self-worth determined by a decimal and comma. Harder to develop honor growing up without a father. We need some body armor, but you waiting on karma to fight this wicked beast while you puffing on a scammer. You can smoke the ganja, but you can't escape your problem. Saw a brother on a train eating chains like Obama. A penny for his thoughts, so I gave the man $1, and he dropped some knowledge on me. He had wisdom like a scholar. He told me keep cool and never ever follow a fool on the battlefield, cause he'll be the groom to recite the fatal nuptials and marry the tomb. Always be certain, never try to assume that every mess can be cleaned with the mop and the broom. Hit every cop in the room if you poppin' your ooze. Mud stains on his clothing and his knuckles all swollen. It seemed like he was going after every word spoken. His voice sounded raspy from the cigarette smoking. I dropped some more change inside the cup that he was holding. I told him keep talking. He said let's walk. Then old Malcolm X tape speeches playing in his Walkman. It had a button missing and he said that it was given when his daughter came to visit him in prison on Christmas. Some people kept their distance from the stench that he emitted, but they mingled with these dirty, filthy crackers. What's the difference? I asked him for his name, and his eyes showed pain like a child that's lost, searching for mommy in the rain. I'm the African they stolen, beaten, treated like a slave. I'm the African rebelling, slicing crackers with the blade. The one thrown overboard to trying to miss the waves. The one who sacrificed my life so someone else was saved. The one you keep forgetting, whose history's unwritten. I made a contribution, just hoping I made a difference. People call me Mumia, some call me Matulu, some call me Sundiata. Can't get this wisdom on YouTube. The brother who was lynched, cause some house Negro snitched. Beaten and castrated, body thrown inside a ditch. I'm the one who made the commitment, while others ride the fence. The one, and he stopped short, leaving me in suspense. He pulled out the mirror, asked me, what do you see? He said, brother, I am we, you a reflection of me.